Hello, friends. You're now listening to the lifestyle, leisure, and sports show you never knew was two of those things.
I think we can all acknowledge that if this fails, you two will be fired and I will remain. So, no pressure.
Beau Bishop, a regional media icon, winner of Emmys, purveyor of the good life.
Sir, you don't know that for a fact.
I just said it on the radio.
Also, two guys this company named Employee of the Month.
What are you talking about?
Paul Hogan is Hulk Hogan's brother. Look it up.
Because it's Hulk Hogan. That's his real name.
One guy is from Australia. The other one is from Tampa.
He's from Hollywood, brother.
Not brothers. Chops.
Yes, they are.
This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo, the boys with you for the next three. It is a Hey Guys First Friday. We will get to that at 11 o'clock. Get your questions into the fellas, and we will answer those in the 11 o'clock hour. Get your officially endorsed coming up as well. We have rankings, college football rankings of head coaches. Bill Bender, look, it's May. We'll take all of this stuff. We know who's number one on our board, and he's with us here in studio right now, Ryan Day in studio. Fresh off the juice, and now in with us. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time. You and I were talking in the break about one of the screens was Brunson last night, and you were talking about the passion that exists there, and we were talking about Northern and the passion that we have in our sports in this part of the country. So I grew up in Montana, and you had to pick a team in the 80s. You just picked one. So all my family liked the Celtics, and I picked the Lakers because I was antagonistic at a young age. You were on the other side of those things. What about your youth, you think, and your experiences in sports as a fan drove you to this?
Well, I think it was probably a combination of things. I lost my father at a young age, and so what ended up happening was my grandfather, who would take me to the Celtics games or to the Patriot games growing up. I got a chance to see Bird and McHale and Ainge and see those great Celtics teams and watch the Patriots. There were some good teams, some bad teams with the Patriots. They made the Super Bowl there. I think it was in '86 against the Bears.
Yep.
Got buried. But just great memories there, and then with the Red Sox, and but then also just growing up in a community where a bunch of coaches really kind of embraced me, and had some great family members, and my father-in-law was a coach, just so I saw what that was like. And then the crazy thing is, Chip Kelly recruits me, who's from my hometown, to go to the University of New Hampshire, and now we're coaching together today.
That was gonna lead to the next part of it, which is the question of inspiration, right? Because there has to be something, a touchstone moment that says, "Oh, this is somebody I connect with. This is how I want to do this." And Chip has been in your life since high school.
Yeah. So growing up, he was a little older than me, and when we're in town together, he was friends with my uncle. He would be sometimes over at my grandparents' house. He would work Nina's dad's basketball camp, and actually was her counselor at one time, and we tell a lot of great stories. He never got up off the couch, off the chair. He just had his shirt off, getting a good suntan during that. My father-in-law tells a great story about that. But somebody who was always around Manchester and always was somebody that was very, very well respected. Went to my high school, so I knew him very well. So when he came around to recruit, obviously he was almost like family.
And so the influence that he had on you, how do you even put that into words?
Well, during the recruiting process, I was in my high school cafeteria, and I was probably going to go to either Brown or Cornell. My family was in hospitality management. I was going to probably just play football there, and the phone rang. It was one of the pay phones in the cafeteria, and it was Chip. And someone says, "Ryan, you got a call over here." I'm like, "I got a call in the cafeteria." So I went over, and he kind of challenged me there. He says, at that time, which was a big deal where we're from, those teams played in the playoffs where the Ivy League didn't. They had their own kind of thing. And he says, "Don't you want to play against the best?" And I said, "Well, that was it." And I committed right there, and that was kind of the end of it. But during that recruiting process, he kind of asked me, "What do you want to do with your life?" I said, "I want to coach." And he said, "Well, if you do, then I'll do everything I can to help you during that process." And certainly he did.
How closely did you follow his trajectory?
Oh, yeah, very close. During my 3 years of playing under him, so my 3 years of being a starting quarterback was his first 3 years of being a coordinator. And during that time, which was really unique, because he would spend time going to visit people who were in the no huddle. So Kevin Wilson at Northwestern at the time was one of those guys. Rich Rod down at Clemson. I know he took things from Wake Forest and some option teams. And so every year we try to adapt until that third year it just became, let's try to run as many plays as we possibly can in the no huddle. And then a few years later, he went on to Oregon and kind of put that on the national stage. And then he was in Philly. I connected with him Philly, in San Francisco. And then we went separate ways. When I went to Ohio State, he went to UCLA, and now we're back together.
We covered the I was out there covering the Rose Bowl when Ohio State played Oregon in the Rose Bowl, and he was at Oregon at that time. And my job at that time, of course, Dom's covering the Buckeyes. You know how Dommy goes. So I'm at Oregon practice every day, and watching the way Chip would run the practice, from the music constantly playing to the tempo and everything, and it was just like I was watching the future. It was so juxtaposed to what Ohio. It was worse. I mean, Trust killed it. Not suggesting otherwise.
Yep.
This is different. He's doing it different. And so when you think about the innovator that he was, and then kind of his coaching tree, of which you're one of, do you have moments when you look down the hall and go, oh, yeah, that guy's here?
Oh, yeah. Which certainly allows me to focus in other areas. That's for sure. You know, I think that was really important in the offseason, was identifying the fact that, you know, with everything going on in college football right now, that was something that needed to get done. And, you know, who else to do that than someone that you trust, you know, with your life. And so that's a big part of it. And that's certainly going to, you know, pay off huge dividends. You know, we're counting on in the fall.
Use the word's trust, right? I mean, a coach has to trust his quarterback. Quarterback has to trust his coach. You got to trust the offensive coordinator. You got to have that trust. To have a guy like that, I mean, that's just critical to it. What has it been like for him to come back into this role after he's been in the other role for a long, long time?
Yeah. And we talked about that coming in, and he was ready, you know, to make that move after, you know, when you leave a team, it's not easy, you know, but I think the thing that got him was, at least that's what he shared with me, was that during the bowl practice, he got an opportunity to spend some time with the quarterbacks, coach the quarterbacks, and then he realized, you know, how much he missed that part of it. And so, you know, this spring, you know, he's had a lot of energy, had a lot of juice. You know, you can tell he's doing what he loves. So, you know, that part has been great to see, that smile on his face.
Yeah, you mentioned quarterbacks, and I love quarterbacks. You love we all love quarterbacks. You got 5 of them. I mean, what is it? I mean, we're through. How were you able to? And what does it say maybe about those 5 kids and grown men in some instances about what they're about, and that you've got 5 good ones?
Well, it happens in recruiting, and I say this all the time to some of the elite players. I said, you know, one of the recruiting pitches you're going to hear from other schools is, don't go to Ohio State, they're loaded. Mm-hmm. Well, Marvin Harrison it didn't matter to him that there was 4 or 5 stars in that room, or the fact that, you know, Travion embraced when Quinshawn came in, and Quinshawn came in knowing Travion was going to be here. But it's the same thing in that quarterback room. You know, if you want to come to Ohio State, you're going to want to compete. Mm-hmm. And that's the way we do it in the offseason. That's the way we do it on the field. We want to compete at the highest level. The cool thing is, you make it here, you make it anywhere.
That's right.
But I think what's most important about the quarterback's room is that they have to feel like they're getting better, that they're getting developed, because that's just as important as anything as a quarterback. You can go to a lot of places. Maybe you can play, but are you really getting developed? I think these guys believe in that.
And you talked a lot in the spring about, you know, you rolled the reps and everybody got those opportunities. Obviously, it can't be that way in the fall. How much have you guys discussed, and I'm not expecting you to share it, but just kind of a plan for how do we keep 5 engaged? How do we get 1 ready, a second ready? That roadmap, has it been laid?
I mean, there's been conversations about it for sure, and we're going to have to be creative. We've you know, done some things. We've had, you know, in the preseason, had 2 fields going to make sure we're getting enough reps for everybody involved. But like you said, you know, we're going to have to be really good and you know, execute a good plan.
One of the things I've noticed in your conversations through spring and your various availabilities is you constantly bring up the notion of, look, it's 16 games. Like, I don't think anyone's ready for what's coming. Like, this is going to be nuts when we think about what's coming down the pipe. But you guys have made that really a part of the ethos of the program of, hey, we're going to need a lot of you guys. When did you guys kind of hit that as a touchdown? Was that in the offseason? Was there a point where you said, man, the old days are done. We aren't playing 12. Like, we're trying to play 16 games, 17. I mean, this is going to be a long season. And how did you get that message to players to the point where they could receive it?
Well, you know, when you talk about the NFL, and you know, Chip's been in the NFL, Tim Walton's been in the NFL. You know, Brian Hartline, James Laurinaitis, these guys played in the NFL. I've had an opportunity to coach in the NFL. So when you get around, you know, the NFL, you realize that it is a marathon. I mean, it is a long run all the way to the end of the season. And the biggest games are at the end of the season. So you have to be playing your best football at the end of games and at the end of the season. So that's the first thing. And you got to make sure that you have a veteran enough, you know, crowd that understands that part of it. Because when you're 18, 19, 20, sometimes you can run out of gas. You know, forget the guys in the NFL. The guys in the NFL can run out of gas. So what we have to do is we have to first off have a plan for, injuries, because in the NFL you can, sign guys off of waivers, you bring guys on the team. That doesn't work that way in college. They don't just, you saw that last year with certain things that went on towards the end of the season that started getting goofy. Mm-hmm. And that was the first sign. It's like, okay, we got to make sure that we're planning this thing out accordingly. So you got to have enough depth, and you got to play depth. Because of the length of the season, but also to prepare guys to play if there are injuries moving forward. So it's something that we knew coming off of last season we had to do a great job of. I think we've done that. We're still trying to put a couple last pieces together, and then it just goes about once the team's intact. Finally, we're getting close to that right now. We're probably about a week or two away from having an exact feel for who our team's going to be. And then we just got to go about developing the high end part of the roster, and then obviously the young guys coming in have got to get on the field.
Are these kids smarter than they've ever been? And the reason I ask the question is, and maybe sometimes too smart for their own good, but I think about Quinshon, he's the leading rusher in the SEC last 2 years, and he could have gone and been the bell cow anywhere. How does that get into, oh, hey, they got a dude up there playing a lot of games, wear and tear, I can benefit from this. How does that conversation go?
Well, I think once he decided to go into the portal, everyone's recruiting him across the country, as you can imagine. But when you have someone like Davison Igbinosun, who's been at both programs, give testimony to what it is like here, I think that was really important. And, when he decided that, I'm interested in Ohio State, the first thing I said was, well, Travion Henderson's coming back, and then the first person I called was Trey, and Trey says, can I sleep on it a little bit? And the next day he says, Coach, if it's going to help our team, I think it's going to be great. And Quinshon said the same thing. And I think, Quinshon might tell you right now, he likes being around. If you want to be elite, you want to be around elite-minded people. Yeah. And that's what's in our locker room right now. And so I can even see a change in him and just the way he's approaching every day in terms of workouts, the way he practiced from day one until the last practice of spring practice. And so, just being in the city of Columbus, being around Ohio State, being on this stage, being around the resources we have, and more importantly, around the people we have, just raises your level up a little bit. And I think that you're starting to see that with him.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We'll continue our conversation with Coach Day. I heard you once say that if you weren't coaching this, you might go work on the Yellowstone Ranch in Montana, Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. My dad just left, and I'll give you a little bit of an idea of what that actually is like.
Okay,
and we'll see if you actually want to do that. We're off and running on a First Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Listen up, gamers. Mountain Dew has always been your go-to for a refreshing citrus kick. Now it's also your go-to for gaming rewards. With Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards, you just look for codes under the caps of specially marked 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Enter those codes online to bank points, and then redeem them for awesome gaming gear. Everything from gift cards, game copies, controllers, consoles, custom Mountain Dew gaming gear, and more. Join Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards now.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at MountainDewGaming.com and 2525. Voter prohibited.
Life. It's full of strange twists and unexpected surprises. But at AAA, it's always been our policy to look on the plus side. And our AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin, for example. Last Monday, his morning coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. Ouch! It was just the jolt of energy he needed to start the day. Later, when his shirt was targeted by the mustard on his burger, he became a proud trendsetter.
Martin, looking good.
And when he walked face first into a sparkling glass door, he was happy to provide some much-needed entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And of course, when his car battery took early retirement, Martin felt no resentment. He knew there was a plus side. AAA's expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA. Are you in a safe location?
While we can't all be like Martin, we can become a AAA AAA Plus member and experience the peace of mind that comes with living on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Attention weekend warriors. Fan Sports Saturday has moved to 10 a.m. Join Eric Reeser and Tyvis Powell as they dive into popular topics like the Buckeyes and Tyvis's liquid diet.
Saturdays from 10 to 1.
The Fan.
Since 1950, Sears Heating and Cooling has been your Central Ohio HVAC expert. Founded by Johnny Sears when gas was just 27 cents a gallon, we're still at the top of our game with thousands of perfect customer reviews. Let Sears Heating and Cooling ensure your AC unit is ready to battle the summer heat ahead. Schedule your AC maintenance today and spring new life into your existing AC unit. From U8 to the Ville, enjoy the local pricing advantage of doing business with your neighbors at Sears. SearsHeatingCooling.com.
Hey there, friends. Beau Bishop here, and the playoff action is here, and there isn't a more rewarding sportsbook in the game than Tipico. Get ready to bet on the biggest games of the year, the playoff basketball, the hockey, the actions every night. You want to make the most of every game? You've got to bet with Tipico. You'll get up to 5% cash back on your bets. Claim your new sign-up bonus now and get $150 in protected bets when you deposit $100. Sign up now. Enter the promo code TheFan150 to get your bonus. Download the Tipico Sportsbook app today. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Proper tree care is an investment that can lead to substantial returns and increased personal enjoyment. Hiring a certified arborist can help care for your trees and add considerable value to your property. Inspections by Ohio ISA certified arborists can often find and mitigate tree defects before they fail. Only professionals with specialized knowledge and training are properly equipped to provide appropriate care. To find an arborist, visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are pretty cloudy right now with some widespread showers. Those continue through midday before slowly tapering off this afternoon and into the evening. By 4 or 5 o'clock, we're mostly dry except for a stray shower here or there. Skies begin to clear shortly after that, and we'll see a little bit of sunshine before sunset, helping our temperatures. We're starting in the 60s and ending in the mid to upper 60s. Columbus hitting 69. I'm meteorologist Madison Wright with your Doppler 10 forecast on The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop and Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Hey, it's your Uncle Beau here for my friends at RCD RV. And when you want to get away, there's no better solution than hitting the open roads in an RV. Certainly brings me back to my youth out west under the stars. That fresh mountain air could all be yours, and your journey starts at RCD RV. RCD has RVs to meet every budget. New campers as low as $13,995, and Ohio's best selection of pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes. 3 locations to serve you in Central Ohio or online at rcdrv.com. Coach, when you, Coach Ryan Day in studio with us here, one more segment. Coach, when you have the chance to get away, what do you seek out?
Peace. Whether, I love the mountains. My wife loves the mountains. There's something about that. Lets you get away a little bit from the craziness that is college football, or, the islands of the Caribbean. Try to get away as far as you can to a quiet place to kind of gather your thoughts.
There's something there's something that's so critical when you think about mental health and you think about the ability to unplug. Do you even ever in those situations truly unplug, or is this job, is that almost impossible?
It's very, very difficult, and you have to learn to do it, though. You have to find a way to get your mind off of it a little bit, and then what you find is when you come back, you're way better at your job. Mm-hmm. It's like I say that to my wife, like, if we just find a way to get away from the kids for a weekend, you'll come back, you'll be a better mom, I'll be a better dad, because you just, you get away, it gives you a different perspective. And so, try to make sure we do that. And I think it's great. Our team just got away for about, 2 weeks, and, now they're getting themselves back in the building. You can see a renewed energy. And you try to do that. You play a little tennis, right? During the day, you get over there and play. You have to have
those releases, because this is one of those things, and been around as long as I have. You did the Bobby Bowden show 20-some years ago in Tallahassee, and, that was a job where the guys went home in the summer. Like, the players went home.
Yep.
They went and got a job in the summer. Like, they weren't there year-round. You couldn't recruit year-round. You had months of time where you were off. That's over now. You have to pick these little spots out there. Certainly you have one of the most important, biggest jobs in all of sport, but at the same time, like, this job has evolved and changed so much. Is it something where you finally feel like you have a handle on all of it, or is it malleable and that you're constantly having to evolve?
Well, you think about the coaches that have come before. You think about Woody Hayes and Earl Bruce and John Cooper and Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer, and each of those eras are vastly different from where college football is now to even when they were. I mean, certainly like when Woody Hayes was here and Earl Bruce and Coach Coop and Coach Tressel, and then but even when Coach Meyer was here, I mean, it's just where it was 3 years ago was different. And it's constantly changing. And one thing that I've just come to grips with is that you've got to make sure that that every year there's going to be massive change. There's going to be something going on that you're going to have to deal with at a high level, and it's kind of been whether it was COVID or just the changes that are going on. And so, we have to do that. You have to, like you said, be adaptable with the times, because things are moving very, very fast. That's just the way the world works.
Yeah.
And, the job is very, very different. And, when you think about the game of football and coaching football, the number one reason you get is to affect young people's lives.
Yeah.
Now, I love the football part of it. I love the coaching part of it. My job right now isn't really focused as much on that part of it, but that's okay. We got a great staff, we got great guys, and continue to build that culture and have effect on them.
That's why you had to have people you trust. That brings it all full circle. Those people, because you're now being pulled in all sorts of different ways. I used to call, I still do, I call Mark the ambassador of cool. When he first got here, I said, that's what that job is. And basically he invented that job.
Yeah.
And now he's the best in the business and has been for a very long time. But I was thinking as you were talking there, because this sport changes sometimes daily. There will be a court case that happens like, oh, well, now this is the way this is. Do you have somebody that just monitors the rules in the sport or lack thereof?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Our compliance folks, our athletic directors, Quinn Temple is the chief of staff. Those guys are constantly having conversations about this to figure out what's coming next, what we can expect, what the plan is. Gene Smith obviously has been a big part of it because he's been a part of some of these committees that have gone on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been great to have he and Ross together for the last couple of weeks, working together to get out in front of a lot of these things.
Yeah, it's we talk about it all the time on the show. Like, I don't think anybody is ready for what's coming in December. You've got, just so our audience understands, and this might be PTSD for you or future PTSD for you, but like, you've got a portal that's going to open. You've got a signing day that needs to be signed. And oh, by the way, you're going to be playing football games. If you could amend one of those things or eliminate one of them during that time, which one would you eliminate?
Yeah, the signing day part of it, the recruiting part of it. Yeah, because it's like, why do we have it all, jammed into one time? Now, there's a lot that comes with it. And so, I just think that there's other possibilities. I know there's conversations about, creating maybe a third signing period to help with some of that because everything is changing. And there's a lot going on in December, but nobody cares. I tell that guy, to the staff, to the players, nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear all that. The number one thing we got to do is win.
No, and the reality is you have television partners and they want television shows, and so at the root of it, that's what this is it's television shows, and you happen to have the highest rated television show in the world. It's the way that you go in college football. When you think about where this sport is going, and you mentioned Gene, and obviously he's been so instrumental. What are your early impressions of Ross and kind of the role that him and Ted will play over the future of the sport?
Yeah, it's been exciting to spend some time with President Carter and Ross, and both really talented guys, and have had great conversations. You can already tell that they understand how important football is, and that's been great as they get here and sort of understand the culture. I think that's the one thing that's stuck out to me about both of them, is that they really have embraced what being a Buckeye is. They certainly come with different experiences, to bring different things to the table, have certain visions that they want to, see happen in the future. But they've really embraced the community. They've embraced the culture. They understand the tradition. They've spent time learning about what's happened in the past, and they want to make sure they do a great job when they're here. So I've just been very impressed so far with all my interactions.
This, as we look ahead to next fall, which is basically what we do around here every day. Let's look ahead to next fall. We were talking off air. This is an incredibly talent-rich roster. You hear the things that are said about it. You know who came in here. How do you make sure it's not even blocking the noise, because I don't think that's possible anymore with constantly being connected. But how cognizant are you of making sure that your team enjoys? Because sometimes when you coach and play here, if you win 42-14, somebody like me comes on and goes, why wasn't it 56? Why'd you give up? What happened here? What happened in the second quarter? Took too long to pull away. How do you make sure that you enjoy the week to week?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think it's about the process on a week to week basis, because that's a double-edged sword there, what you just mentioned. You have to celebrate the victories, but at the same time, when you win in a game like you just mentioned, you have to identify the issues, because the issues are still there. And that's the job of the coaches and the players. The coaches to identify what those issues are, even in a game where you might have won by 28, where then you go to a matchup game and it may come down to 1 or 2 plays, and those 1 or 2 plays are going to affect the outcome of the game, which we've learned. Yeah. And so we have to do that. And then the players have to understand, okay, I have the maturity to accept some of this, and we need to come together without creating resentment. And that I think when you have a mature team that's been through what some of our guys have been through the last couple of years, that have come back for a common purpose, that really helps, because the messaging that comes from the coaches and from the leadership can then work down for the entire team, because they understand what's important and what's coming at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's a wild thing. It's a great job to have. It'd be disingenuous of me if I didn't put you on the spot with one. Do you have, and I'm not expecting you to give me the date, but do you have a time frame on naming a starter coach?
No.
Quarterback? You knew I was going there. I had to go there at the end.
Yeah, no. I mean,
is there a date kind of that you have?
I mean, it's going to be a huge part of our season. Is the quarterback playing, how well the quarterback plays. I mean, we know that. We know how important the offensive line play is going to be. We know how important the quarterback play is going to be. We're not shying away from that. And typically, the defense is going to be strong, and how well they play late in the season is going to be critical. But it always comes down to the quarterback. And so that's a big part of it. In terms of a deadline, I don't like to do that. Because this is something where a lot of those guys are working towards it, and I want to make sure that we're doing what's right by them, but at the same time do right by the team to make sure that we're prepared. And I think the way that things turned out last year, it kind of went into the first couple games of the season. That's not ideal.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't like to do that again this year. But it's gonna come down to playing the best players, and I say that all the time. Like, we don't have time to not play the best players. So they'll be in competitive situations, and may the best man win.
If you ever truly want to unplug, we got about 400 acres that always needs to be fenced. And I promise you, my dad can get you on a pony and get you up there. And there's no cell phone. So no one's going to be able to reach you there, my friend.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me.
I'll tell you, it's important to him. I'll tell you that.
If it doesn't have cell service, I'm in.
There's no service up there, brother. Great talking to you, Coach. Thanks for stopping by in studio. Ryan Day in studio. What a real treat for us. You listen to Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
News, opinions, and insight, all before breakfast. Rise and shine with Morning Juice.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The nightmare of the cleared drain. Those drain clearing specials from the other guys seem like a great deal until you realize the only thing really going down your drain is your money. At the Waterworks, we mean clean. Our service doesn't just clear your drains, it cleans them too. It's done right the first time, so that nightmare of a drain becomes a dream come true. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call 614-232-2222 to get started.
New 2024, up to 72 months Aria, up to 36 months Rogue, and 6/3/24.
Reichert Nissan has an announcement to make. 0% financing is now available for up to 72 months. Take a Reichert Nissan Aria home today and pay 0% for 72 months. But that's not all. Reichert Nissan also has 0% financing on Rogue 2. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33, or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
With approved credit. Residency restrictions apply. Offers cannot be combined. Dealer contribution affects consumer cost.
Hear that? It's the sound of someone whacking the ground with a rake. Specifically, they're beating around the bush, which we've done enough of in this ad too, so let's get right to it. The new Moneymaker scratch-off from the Ohio Lottery doesn't beat around the bush. Money Maker. Play the game and you could win money, up to $2 million. With more than $88 million in prizes, ranging from $50 to $500, Moneymaker cuts right to the cash. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
This is Bob Capace of Worthington Jewelers. We've been creating one-of-a-kind designs for almost 20 years. Our jewelry consultants will help you create your one-of-a-kind design or select from over 1,000 engagement ring options. Shop local and come see us at Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
Here's your cool tip from Custom Air. It's time to clean up the space around your air conditioner. Clear plants and debris obstructing airflow around the unit. Also, don't hit your unit with weed eaters. Don't struggle with your AC this summer. Go to customairco.com. Custom solutions, custom comfort, Custom Air.
Sunday's the time for brunching with your favorite people. And when they don't invite you, listen to us instead. Fan Sports Sunday with Tito and DeVere Posey.
Sunday morning starting at 11.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We see it every day. A guy comes into the men's clinic and guess what? The pills quit working, or they're sick of the side effects. And you know what else we see? Guys not confident in their relationship. At Columbus Men's Clinic, we're the leaders in bedroom confidence. Understanding if you even need ED or low T treatment should be the first step. And the next should be choosing the treatment or treatment combination to build your confidence. Our urologist and physician group is offering professional, modern treatments with success rates as high as 92% and decades of experience. Our doctors are not going to send you an email with what might work for most people. We are results-driven. Concierge. You don't pay for medication, it's included, but you invest in the time it takes to get you where you want to be. We've built an experience with discretion that takes the worry out of going to the doctor. In fact, we've normalized it for guys all over Columbus. Come see our friendly team in Columbus and find out why we've been #1 in men's health for years. Get a consultation and low T blood work with results on your first visit for $99. Get your confidence back in the bedroom and beyond. Go to columbusmensclinic.com and book your appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We all have something to get off our chest. Therapy is a safe space to share whatever is weighing you down, so you can get some relief and find a solution. BetterHelp offers professional, affordable online therapy on a flexible schedule. Let it out with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp, HELP.com/like today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/like.
Hey, are you having a hard time dealing with high-interest credit card debt? It's normal, and a SoFi personal loan could help you save thousands by consolidating your DEBT to one low fixed monthly payment. You could get $5,000 to $100,000 as soon as the same day you sign, with no fees required. It only takes 60 seconds to view your rate, and it won't affect your credit score. View your rate at SoFi.com/paid-off. Loans originated by SoFi Bank N.A. Member FDIC. Terms and conditions at SoFi.com/paid-off. NMLS 696891.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a First Friday edition of the program. Great having Coach in. That was a real treat. Very kind of him to give us here an hour of his time with the Juice Bringers, and then sitting in with us for a little bit. There's so many things when you have somebody like Coach in that you want to get to, and so but at the same time you want to have an enjoyable conversation. So hopefully that was for everybody out there.
Do you think he thought he was going to get out of 4 segments between 2 shows without you asking about the quarterbacks?
I don't know. I could tell. I mean, I'd be disingenuous. That's what I said to him. It'd be disingenuous of me. Like, that's my number one thing. I mean, I talk about it all the time. Like, when are you going to do it? So, I mean, you got to ask it, and he's good. He knows. But he's I'll tell you this, great dude and brilliant guy. You think about I think the thing that I kind of come back to over and over again is that how much that job has changed, and that word trust. He mentioned it unprompted. It came up, I think, throughout many of his answers. And it's you have to be able to trust the people on your staff, and I think he finally has full trust of everyone in his staff at the most critical positions. Jim Knowles on the defensive side and that entire staff. And then on the offensive side with Chip. I mean, the fact that they're from the same town. I mean, they've known each other forever, and he can look down the hall and go, I know that guy has my best interest. I know he has the program's best interest. I know my quarterback room, which is his, he's a quarterback. That's his favorite room. And the fact that room is in those hands lets you sleep easy at night, even if you're not getting as much sleep as you'd like.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear him talk about like kind of the full circle moment with Chip Kelly, because you bring up that trust and like it's reverse, because Chip Kelly had to trust him to be his quarterback at a certain point when he was coaching him in college, and now Ryan Day's the head coach and Chip Kelly's the offensive coordinator, but obviously a bunch of mutual respect, history, and trust between those two guys.
Yeah, very good stuff. So we'll have that up. We had it on the YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch that if you want. The Fan is now on YouTube. Watch your favorite shows live. Check out the videos, YouTube Shorts. How do you find us? At a YouTube and search 97.1 The Fan, and don't forget to subscribe to the Fan's new YouTube channel. Sometimes when numbers are spelled, they get me. Like if I just put it and I'll read it. But then you spell it, and I go Papa Burgundy on
Old TV copy thing where everything's in caps, and I actually don't like reading in all caps. No. Everybody wants to write all the copy in it.
Yeah, that's how it was always. That was always the way that it worked, was the TV caps on that side of it. So you can find that there and podcast and all of those things. I think we'll put it out I'm sure we'll put it on the social channels as well. So you can take that in. Caitlin Clark's a bust. Is that where we're at? She's a bust. She stinks. 10 turnovers in the WNBA. She got ripped at midcourt by Dejanay Carrington. Ripped her right at midcourt.
The most turnovers in a WNBA debut. Now, I think that goes a little bit both ways. One, high usage rate, and she's the number one overall pick. So she's out there a lot handling the ball, because you have to, sort of like the Brett Favre interception record. Yeah. Like, you have to be out there a lot to get a record like that. But it was very slow starting for her. Didn't score, even though everybody wanted her to, until 5:24 left in the second. She was taking the ball down on a fast break, got by somebody, drove, got the layup. That got things going a little bit and had a team high 20 points. I think the real problem is the Fevers still just aren't very good.
They're not very well. They had the number one pick.
Yeah. And they had the number one pick last year. So they should be getting better, but they're just not there yet.
Reese, you ready to declare her a bust?
Oh, total bum. Absolutely washed. Like, she should have never left Iowa. She had a year remaining on her eligibility. She could have made some money there and clowned some more college kids. But when she gets into the real world and actually plays against adults, you see what happens.
Who would have had that on the bingo card, by the way? Coming out of Ryan Day, the next sports topic we would have discussed.
Crush Caitlin.
WNBA preseason Caitlin Clark debut would have been the next one up.
And the interesting thing about the game that stood out the most to me, and it's twofold. One, the players are better. They're bigger. She is not able to pass exactly the same way she was in college, but she was trying it, and that was part of the reason that she got the 10 turnovers. But also, and this one is a little bit more on her as well, but like, her teammates are still learning how to take some of those passes, because there were a few times that the pass did go through and look good, but it maybe was just a little bit low and like people weren't quite ready for it. So some of that chemistry will just happen over time, but yeah, bust for sure.
Who is the most recent veteran? Boy, you got to go back. I was going to do veteran, like men's college player, and then their adjustment to the NBA. Most of them now are one and dones. Like Wembanyama was obviously a phenomenon, but he's European. He didn't even. I was trying to think of somebody who's was a dude in college.
Like a Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, back there, one of the, like a Ben Gordon. That's way back.
You're right. There's just not many of those guys go through those years.
Anthony Davis, just the 1 year at Kentucky, and he's went pretty quick. It's just a different. Yeah, it's an elite level. You're just taking a step up. She'll obviously be fine on that side of it. NBA kind of went the way that it did last night. You had New York. They were up big, and they just stayed up big and separated. This one was over relatively. I got in the third quarter after lacrosse practice, and at that point, I put it on. They were up 16. And it was done.
It always stinks, when you're busy, and so you're like, oh, I can finally get to the game, and you tune in, and it's over. But it's just Jalen Brunson. If you can't stop him, he's going to will this team to victory every time he's out there. He's basically on this. When they win, he scores 40 points, and I don't think those are coincidences.
No, not at all. And, Coach and I were talking off air about, and we actually led the interview with it, but, that passion that's in these northern markets. And I saw the Knicks fans as they were leaving chanting, "We want Boston, we want Boston." And I think that's probably as high water mark as the NBA is going to get, is going to be Boston, New York in the Eastern Conference Final. That one will have the juice.
Well, it'll be crazy, and it's still alive. It feels a little less likely right now in the NHL, but we could have a Boston, New York Eastern Conference Finals in both.
So Florida leads the series 3-2, and then the Rangers lead 3-2.
Yes. Well, you see how it happened last night?
I did not. I saw Boston. I was watching that one.
So I think it was, 3 goals in the third period?
Yeah. Boston came back. Boston beat Florida 2-1 last night to make that series go back to Boston at 3-2. Boston won the first game, Florida's won the next 3, and then Boston won last night. I'll tell you this. You know what I did see last night after that game? Edmonton hosting Vancouver. So we just have to acknowledge this. Canada, before an NHL playoff game, forget about it. Forget about it. They put a spotlight into the upper deck. They got a guy with a booming voice and a mic in the upper deck and a spotlight around the fans. He does the first line of O Canada, and then the stadium takes over at full throat.
It's funny, too, because it's the opposite of whenever, when a Canadian team comes down here, plays at the Blue Jackets, they do both national anthems before the game, and it's our guy, Leo. He'll do both of them. And it's kind of the opposite down here. I know O Canada. All the crowd knows O Canada.
That's right.
And then it just drops out. Then it's just Leo going because I don't know the rest of the lyrics. But up there, they got it down.
Oh, they know it. Yeah, they are not screwing around at all. And I think it's as cool a thing that you can have in sport is a little bit of that when that happens. So the Bruins, that's now 3-2 in that series. The Oil tied it up with the Canucks. They are now 2-2 in that series out west. Tonight in the NHL, you'll have the Avs and the Stars. Dallas leads that series 3-1. I think I could be pretty much eliminated because I think all I have left is Boston and Colorado. Reese has got Florida. Who else you got?
I got the Hurricanes, I have the Oilers, and I have the Panthers.
Oilers, Panthers, Canes, and you must have Rangers.
I have Rangers, and do I have Stars, too? I might have Stars.
So you could still be in the mix. I'm going to be buying you guys more Whiskey War.
This is what happens every time. You throw out this bet. You've done this before, and you never win.
It happened the last time. I can pick games. I can't do a round robin on who's going to win the NHL and NBA playoffs. So that's the way that goes tonight. You also have Cavs tonight, right, Reese? Your boys?
It's a funeral.
Yeah, probably, right?
Especially doesn't sound from Mitchell's comments after Monday that he's going to be physically able to go. They could throw Jared Allen out there and it can make somewhat of a difference, but I do think this is it. It's funny when you mentioned the Knicks fans at Madison Square Garden last night chanting, "We want Boston." If you don't have OG Anunoby, if you got Jalen Brunson a little gimpy, and if they get a healthy Kristaps Porzingis, you in fact do not want Boston.
Oh, no. But don't you think it's house money for them, right? Eastern Conference Final?
I think
probably.
Like
Madison Square Garden hosting those games.
When's the last time the Knicks have been in an Eastern Conference Final?
It was Ewing.
I think they made the finals in the strike shortened, in my head, in the 98 season against San Antonio with like Latrell Sprewell, Larry Johnson, Allen Houston. They got to a conference final, I want to say in the late 90s. That's the last time that they've been anywhere near it. So if they can go to Indy and win, or if they can pull this off, yeah, I think it's house money on their side of things. We did have some schedule leaks on the NFL side of things. We'll get you the details on that. We have the overseas games are all locked in. Shockingly, the Browns not among them. Big win for Reese. We'll get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big Voice Guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Guys, let's talk game. Our team has some promising new recruits to watch this fall. But how's your game? Testosterone therapy can help you get back to your best. And there's no better time to start than the spring. I recommend Low T Center. It's where I get my levels checked. At Low T Center, they make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and you get your results in about 25 minutes. If you often feel tired, notice weight gain, and loss of muscle mass, you may have low T levels. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. Spring is here, and it's only going to get hotter from here, folks. Don't cool off the outside this year. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. They are the best in the business. Who else backs it up with a true 20-year warranty? Give them a call, 614-502-5220, to schedule your free in-home estimate today. For every 2 windows you buy, the next 2 free. Plus 0% financing for 60 months. That is 5 years. Restrictions apply. Check them out online, uwd.com.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Partial to pastrami, craving a Cubano. Yeah, sounds delicious, but boom! Add the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi, zero sugar, and cue the fireworks. Lunch, dinner, or late night, it'll be a sandwich worth celebrating. Trust me, your boy's eaten a lot of sandwiches in his day, and the one thing I can say with absolute fact, every bite is better with Pepsi.
Beau Bishop here for my friends at High Bank Distillery Co., located right here in Columbus, the home of the best blended whiskey in America, now 3 years running. Support local. Grab a bottle at your local liquor store, including their new ready-to-drink cocktail, Midnight Manhattan. High Bank's twist on a classic Manhattan. Handcrafted with award-winning whiskey war, port wine, and bitters, it's the perfect nightcap. Just pour and enjoy. And I encourage you to learn more about their Whiskey War line and other spirits at highbankdistillery.com. Drink the best, forget the rest with High Bank Distillery.
Rothman and Ice.
When you look at 2024, what they have in that building, if everybody rolls out there consistently week in and week out, the Bengals can clip anybody.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
Listen, you've been making house payments for years, right? And right now, your home's value has never been higher, right? That means you're likely sitting on a small fortune in equity. Good for you. That's cash you could use to help secure your retirement, solve all your financial burdens, enable you to travel, everything you want. The catch is, you're not ready to move. No problem. You don't have to with the TrueHold Sell and Stay Leaseback program. This is a genius financial strategy. You sell your home to TrueHold while its value is high. You bank all that equity in cash now, and you can stay as long as you like with an easy, affordable lease. And TrueHold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a TrueHold offer now while your home's value is sky high. Call 1-844-TrueHold or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out without moving out. TrueHold.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-532-4724. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-532-4724. That's 800-532-4724. Again, 800-532-4724.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Sears Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Playoff action certainly here. Is it a more rewarding sports book in the game than Tipico? Get ready to bet on the biggest games of the year, the basketball playoffs, the hockey action every single night. You want to make the most of every game, you've got to bet with Tipico. You get 5% cash back on your bets. Enjoy the highest cash back in the industry, the most rewarding sports book. Claim the new sign-up bonus now. Get $150 in protected bets when you deposit $100. Sign up now. Enter the promo code TheFan150. That's how you get your bonus. Download the Tipico Sportsbook app today. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER for more. I'll be honest with you. I thought there was a time about a month and a half ago that I would have said the Browns are going to go to Brazil. And I think a lot of people in their building thought that the Browns were going to go to Brazil. There was a time for
one guy who was definitely in the building who
certainly thought that. There was a time, really honestly, as recently as yesterday, where I would have thought that they would be playing in London. Quite honestly, it felt like that was going to happen. None of that happened. The overseas games have all been announced, and there is no Ohio teams going across the pond this year. Jags and Bears are going to play over there. Jacksonville's going to stay over there. Going to play the Patriots as well. Then you have Giants at Panthers in Germany, in Munich. Raiders and Chiefs also. That's Munich too, right? I think Kansas City's playing there too, aren't they? They have that right? Do we have that list?
I have a partial. It's hard because it all comes in like piecemeal with it, but I thought I did write that. Raiders at Chiefs week 13 is Black Friday. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Okay, so that's a Black Friday game?
Yeah, it's like I said, they all come out in like these separate ones. The Albert Breer tweet has Packers at Eagles September 6th in Brazil, Jets at Vikings October 6th in England. I don't know if it's specifically London.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, which is still London, right? Or
yeah, it's Bean would know for sure. I think it's North London.
Yeah, but then Jaguars,
I think.
The two Jags games and back-to-back weeks in October, and then Giants at Panthers November 10th in Munich.
Okay, so the Kansas City's not going over there. So that's the other thing is they thought the Chiefs were headed to Munich. So there was a lot that was wrong. I do wonder, because this thing's been delayed for a week, I do wonder if teams maybe protested what they were being asked to do. So I think there are two things that factor into this thing being delayed a week. I think maybe there were teams who said, you know what, I'm really not crazy about doing that. I don't think we will do that this year, and instead we'll do something next year. And then I think the other thing that happened was that December 21st, December 24th flip-flop, because that's going to be a pod of, the way I understand it, and we'll know tonight, I think the full schedule is released tonight on NFL Network, but the way I understand it is they're going to have 4 teams play Saturday, and then those same 4 teams are going to play Christmas Day on the 25th.
Plus the negotiation with Netflix
Wednesday.
On that is another reason.
Well, and then it looked like
holding up.
Yeah, it looked like Amazon might get into that business too of potentially trying to get in that.
Everybody wants the NFL business, or if you're the CW, you can have what's left of the Pac-12. Did you see that news?
We'll get to that. Yeah. Listen, I mean, we'll just do it for a minute right now. That's not the worst. That's not too bad.
No, it's not.
I mean, they made it work. If you're Oregon State and Washington, so what happened? They're basically 10 games are going to be on CW, and there's a couple of Oregon State games rather that are going to be on FS1.
It's the Oregon State, Washington State, and then there's like a Texas Tech at one of them that is going to be on Fox or FS1, and then the other, they have 13 home games between the two of them, and the other 11 are going to be on CW.
Yeah, so look, it might be best if you're those two institutions. And again, it's stupefying to me that they couldn't find a home, that there's not value for those two institutions. I understand that no one understands more than me how remote those campuses are, but those two states are big-time populous states, and there's no reason that two state universities that have won the way those two programs have won, both have played in BCS games in the last 25 years. There's no reason that those two programs shouldn't be in a conference. They're not. Might not be the worst case scenario to go it independent for a couple of years and just see how this shakes out. If you can stay afloat. Remember, they have Pac-12 money for the next couple of years. So they have, I think it's 2 more seasons, right, where they have Pac-12 money?
Well, they got all the assets of the conference, too. So yeah. I don't know exactly what their financials are going to look like, because that also included gaining the debts of it. But I don't know the numbers of what the CW and Fox is giving them, and I'm sure it's not, up there with, obviously not Big Ten or SEC, but probably still not even ACC, Big 12. But still, it's like, George Klyavkov, you had an actual product to sell, and these guys put it together in an offseason. Like, what did you do for the Pac-12? Nothing.
Not bloody much.
Put this together and gotten something for them, because that's all they needed. They needed something that was in the vicinity of what the Big 12 and the ACC were getting, and they would have stuck together. And instead, they just let it all fall apart.
Well, wasn't the story that it was a professor at Arizona State or Arizona that blew it up?
Yeah, it was like an economics professor, right?
Yeah, one of the Arizona schools, I believe, was like, yeah, you guys ought to be getting $50 million a year. And they were like, okay, well, if we don't get 50, then we're not doing anything. And now he doesn't have a conference. But I think it's smart. And honestly, this might, too, be the play. Whatever shakes out with the ACC here, that might be the play for them, is to kind of wait it out independently and see how this all shakes out from a television perspective, and maybe sell their inventory a la carte, sell their home games a la carte.
Now, they sort of have it because they've still been representing the Pac-12, and there's only 2 teams in it. But at what point, if you're one of those schools, I understand there are smaller schools that, through happenstance mostly now, end up in the independent world of college football. Massachusetts was there for a while. UConn football is there right now because they went back with basketball. But Notre Dame is the only one that really stands out. Why wouldn't Oregon State and Washington State, if they went that route, say, hey, why don't we have representation at all these meetings if Notre Dame does? They're an independent.
Great point.
Why is their athletic director there?
Why are they any different? We'll never know that.
No.
How that all shakes out. So you'll get the full schedule release. The only thing we know on the Browns and Bengals for sure is that the Browns will open at home against the Cowboys. That's a 4:25 kick in Week 1 on Fox, and that the Bengals will rather be at the Chiefs in Week 2. That is a 4:25. And you've seen on Twitter Eagles Week 8. For Cincinnati, too, that's out there?
Yeah, I can't tell every time that I see something on Twitter if it's true,
real,
but I have seen that one. Yes.
Okay. All right. So there you go. And then you get that full schedule tonight. All right. Coming up next, our buddy Bill Bender, who will join us coming up at 10:33, ranked the top 25 coaches in college football. There is a name that is just glaring at me. We will get to this coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is the sound of a well-tuned air conditioner ready for summer. This is the sound of an air conditioner that was not tuned up by Apex Pros.
Excuse me, I represent the Don't Make Stuff Up on the Radio Association.
I'm kind of doing something here.
That sound of a not tuned up air conditioner?
Oh, you mean this?
You made that up.
Well, it's a dramatization. See, most air conditioner troubles can be prevented with a simple tune-up before summer by Apex Pros. The pros who knows.
And that.
The pros who knows.
You can't say sentences like that.
Well, look, it's just our cute way of saying
that cute bear. Does a bear tune up my AC?
What? No, it's people. I mean, a person, a guy, maybe a gal.
Making stuff up.
An Apex tune-up helps your AC last longer, lowers your energy bills, and prevents this.
You did it again.
Man, you're a real hothead. Sit under this air conditioning.
What air conditioning? I don't hear any...
See? Schedule a tune-up at apexpros.com.
Hi, it's Alex, the friendly Apex Bear. No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. apexpros.com.
At the James at Ohio State, you're choosing the experts who understand there is no routine cancer, where your care is delivered by a highly specialized team dedicated to studying and treating just one type of cancer, yours. And where 1,700 scientists are working on new treatments and new hope for every form of cancer. All at the region's only comprehensive cancer center, designated by the National Cancer Institute. You didn't choose cancer, but the choice of where to treat it is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Ooh, what a dinger. Man, I miss our days playing ball. But ever since I turned 40, just thinking about taking a lap around the bases makes me tired.
You ever think lower testosterone is the issue?
What are you saying?
After 40, the body has less testosterone, impacting your drive. That's why guys like me take Nugenix Total T to keep their energy up.
Nugenix really works for you?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I feel great. Getting up early for workouts. I'm focused, energized, getting things done at work, in the gym. I even feel more passionate in my relationship.
How do I give Nugenix a try?
Send them a text for a complimentary bottle.
Text CASH to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text CASH to 321-321. That's CASH to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Only 13 teams in NBA history have ever come back from a 3-1 series deficit in the postseason. The Cavaliers hope to become the 14th as they're in Boston tonight against the Celtics in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Tip-off is 7 p.m. Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen are questionable. Mitchell did not play in Game 4 because of a calf strain. If the Cavs pull off the win tonight, Game 6 will be in Cleveland Friday. On the court last night, the Knicks took a 3-2 lead on the Pacers. The Nuggets went up 3-2 on the Timberwolves. In the NFL tonight, the league will finalize their entire 2024 schedule around 8 p.m. The International Series games were released this morning. No teams from the AFC North were chosen this year. And in baseball, the Guardians look to break out the Bruins on the Rangers in Arlington at 8:15. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. BMI Federal Credit Union has been voted Best Credit Union 6 years in a row by CBUS Top Picks. Visit BMIFCU.org to learn more.
Not interested in Iowa football? Too bad. Chops will tell you about it anyway. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a First Friday. A Hey Guys First Friday. Still time to get your questions into the fellas at 971-BFS. We will answer those coming up 1 hour from now. And the winner there gets the $50 gift card to our great friends at the High Bank Distillery. They've got something new coming on the clear spirits front.
Okay, so this isn't another mixed cocktail. This is
a clear spirits front. I ran their clear spirits through the blonde, improved, all for it. I like a clear spirit. I like a slightly dirty martini before a steak at a white tablecloth.
Okay,
I do enjoy that.
And you're a vodka martini guy?
That's right.
Speaking of new, so I don't know if you've heard, the fan is on YouTube, and you can watch our shows live and see our wonderful faces. I'm also monitoring the live chat box.
Sure.
So if you have any Hey Guys questions you want to submit via that, we can answer those. If I can read them on the air, like, please, let's keep them clean.
We want to stay on the
air. At 11 o'clock.
Is this better the way I have the mic now? No.
I am at no liberty to discuss that on the air. I want to keep my job, man.
That's right.
Gosh.
That's right. That's exactly right. So the winner there gets that. So Reese, you're going to monitor the YouTube on that, and Chopper, you'll monitor the X platform on that, and we'll get to those coming up in about an hour from now. Bill Bender's great at this. Look, this is the time of year where you give me a list. Give me a Mount Rushmore. Give me a list. I'm interested in it. Like to debate it. One thing that we all know, Bill knows this as much as anybody, and he'll attest to this coming up in a half hour when he joins us live, is that when you put stuff like this together, people are going to complain, which causes what? Dialogue, which brings attention to what you do, which brings eyeballs and engagement, the big E word that we all love so much. So he put together his top 25 coaches. Now, one thing that I think is really fascinating about this is who's not on the list. What I mean by that is no Saban, right? No Saban, no Harbaugh, no Jimbo. So you think about guys who've won national championships, they're not on the list. In fact, I was going through this. I think there's only three coaches. Mm-hmm. Yeah, three. So it's Kirby, it's Dabo, and it's
Mac Brown. It's not just on this top 25. It's active. There are only 3 active coaches in college football who have won a national championship. And even then, like, it used to be like, well, Saban's taking up so many. No, now it's just, Dabo and Smart have 2 apiece, so that's more than 1, but it's not. What does Saban have? 7?
Yeah, right.
It's not like that anymore. It's just the guys who have won have all filtered out, and now this is all that's left. Because Mac Brown, he's not even at the school that he won him at, and there was a long stint where he wasn't in coaching. Like, his barely counts in my mind a little bit.
I think it's funny on Mac. When Ryan was in studio with us off the top of the first hour, I told that story about covering the Oregon practices with Chip and how juxtaposed the Ohio State practices. It felt like, and it wasn't. I hope it didn't come across as like a shot that Tressel wasn't doing it. That's not what I was insinuating at all. It was just very, very different than the way that they were doing it at the Ohio State practices, and it was noticeable. There was a tempo to what Chip was doing, and there was music, constant, and it wasn't just like one variety of music. It was all varieties of music, but one song after another, and they went. And now everybody does that. Everybody has the tempo, and they move, and the music, and all that stuff. Nobody's standing still, all of that. So prior to that, I had covered the Fiesta Bowl, Threes' last game, Texas, Ohio State, and got to be around Mac. So Dom always got to go with the Buckeyes, and then I would go cover the opposing team. And so then when we would do the hits on Channel 10, it would be Dom would lead with, here's what's going on with the Buckeyes, here's what happened at Buckeye practice, now let's head over to this part of Arizona, and Beau's with the Longhorns. So I got to cover Mac for that time, and was just the kindest guy you could ever be. Like, I was there for every one of the practices, and by the second practice, he knew my name. But if you would have told me, because it's 09, I think that's 09. If you would have told me that 15 years later, he would have quit coaching at Texas, gone into broadcasting,
for like
and then
5 years.
For several years, and then returned to North Carolina, which was, he kind of put that program and the facilities at the time, he put that on the map. They had great players before, Lawrence Taylor, bunch of guys. But in terms of, at one point, he had them ranked in the top 5 in the country. Like, they were recruiting dudes. And facilities-wise, he got them up to speed. And that he would go back to North Carolina. And how old is he now? He's got to be approaching 80.
Yeah,
he has to be.
He would have to be because,
he was an assistant for Bowden years ago.
He's 72.
Okay. That's it?
He'll be 73 this coming August, so before the actual season. Happy birthday, Mac Brown.
So he was coaching Texas. That first stint at UNC should have been pretty young for him.
Would have been in his prime, late 40s, early 50s. So I would not have had that. So he was only 50,
That's 15 years ago. It was only 57. Boy, to me, he came across as like 65. He seemed grandfatherly. Maybe it was just because he had the white hair.
It must have been the hair. While we're talking about the national champion coaches, looking at it even a little bit further, there's only an additional three active coaches. One's not at the school he went this with that have won a playoff game. So there's only 5 coaches, because Mac Brown hasn't won a playoff game. There's only 5 coaches who have won a playoff game. Kirby and Dabo.
Kalen, Ryan, and Lincoln? No, Lincoln hasn't.
He's never even been. Well, I know he's been with Oklahoma. That's
he's
true.
at Oklahoma a couple of times.
Now with USC. Sonny Dykes at TCU. Remember they beat Michigan and played Georgia in a national championship. Do you remember that game?
If you lose by 1 billion, did it really happen?
They won the previous game.
That one sucks. That's the one that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you look. I mean, I don't lament I don't lament not getting a shot at Burrow when you lose to Clemson and 10 things had to go against you. That's fine. Don't lament Justin in 20. I mean, you didn't play. You played guys. You didn't have a full roster because you had guys who you were COVID testing who didn't play. Alabama wasn't so worried about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if if even at your best you were going to beat that Bama team. I don't know about that, but it's that one. It's CJ, and it was all that was standing in the way was TCU.
You know, it's another,
had you beat Georgia, you were right there. I mean, it just sucks because if it goes the other way, then you're playing TCU, and in place of you handle them, and then you get Georgia for it all.
I think also the weird thing with TCU winning that game against Michigan and going to the national championship, then they get blown out, and it's like, we're like, but Georgia's really good. And then we didn't know what to do with TCU, and it was almost a chain reaction that helped propel the Deion Sanders thing at the beginning of next season, because they beat TCU, and we were like, oh, wow, that's the reigning national runner-up.
Yeah.
Turns out TCU, we didn't know what they were. They weren't even that good, but in week 1, all we could go off of was what they were last year.
How did Harbaugh lose that game? Isn't that something?
They got drilled.
Didn't have the tape, I guess. I don't know. So back to Bill's list. Top 25 coaches in the country. No argument at number 1. Kirby Smart, 2-time national champion. He basically took the Alabama playbook and then applied it to Georgia, and he's crushed it. He's recruiting at a level that only previously Saban had recruited at consistently. It is a state I'm very familiar with, the high school football in that state, and it's one that they were just waiting for the right guy, and they thought they had it in Mark Richt, but Mark's not enough of a killer. He's just not. He's just a little bit too nice of a guy. And Kirby's a killer, and he went there, and he was a player there. He was a grad assistant at Florida State under Bowden years ago, and then learned at the foot of Saban for a long, long time before the perfect job opened up, and then he took it, and it's all been gravy from there.
It's going to be scary because Saban eventually got to this. I mean, you think about the first half of his championships, even going back to LSU, but at Alabama, he's such a defensive-minded guy, and that's how they won. What was it, 7-3 or whatever against LSU in the national championship? But then he eventually had to switch. He got, and he said, okay, we need to up our offense. What's going to happen when Kirby finally gets the offense rolling at 100% capacity of the talent that they can kind of bring in there?
Well, he did. I mean, when they had Monken. I mean, he went and hired one of the brightest minds ever.
But it was still Stetson Bennett at quarterback. What happens when they get a Deshaun Watson at quarterback?
But they had him. I mean, he had Fields, and he wanted Fromm. Like, they've had those guys there. It didn't mesh. So, but they're recruiting at a level you could see it. I mean, the problem is Beck, and then it's Mike Bobo's the coordinator, and no one's going to confuse him with Monken. So Beck could be the first pick in the draft. So it's going to be us and them. Let's just cut to the chase. That's the game that's going to happen. And so he's number 1 and deservedly. This is the one when I was saying in the tease, like, this is the one that's glaring at me. It's Dabo at 2. Now, I know what Bill's going to say. He's going to say he's won 2 national championships. Okay, fine. He is so far removed from the epicenter of the sport. The fall off from program that stood toe-to-toe with Alabama and beat them and won 2 national championships and recruited Deshaun and Trevor back-to-back, Taj Boyd before that, DJ Uiagalelei after that, all the way to Klubnik, who's there now. The way they recruited, the way they developed, the program that he had, it is so far. I know it's not that far removed time-wise, like time goes quick. It's not that far removed. It feels like a decade ago
when this stuff was happening.
Well, it was before COVID, too, so that I think also like elongates the time. But then all the changes in college football. And then it's not even just the off-field changes, which we've talked about a lot with Dabo Swinney and is important in this conversation, but he is unwilling to change with the on-field stuff as well, because when his coordinators finally said, "Oh, we have chances to go somewhere," Brent Venables ends up at Oklahoma, and he also replaced his offensive coordinator in that offseason. He went in-house. They eventually switched back, and he brought in Lincoln Riley's brother last year. But it's still, there seems to be an apprehension. You go see Oregon with Chip Kelly, and it just looks different. It looks innovative. They're doing something that other teams aren't doing. Yeah. And that's what you have to do to keep staying at the top of the game. And Dabo seemed to, from the outside looking in, stop doing that both on and off the field in his philosophy.
No portaling.
I just wanted to make sure that I'm reading it right. There are 0 portal players.
Yes.
No. Go ahead.
There's nobody. There's not a single.
Eric Reeser now is going to read the list of Clemson portal signees. Go.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. That was a lot to read there.
They don't do it.
They didn't pick up a single portal person in this or last cycle.
And you didn't mess up a single pronunciation. You're our pronunciation guy, so that's
it.
Impressive.
No, they don't. They don't have. He's not participating.
No. And
he's not doing it.
Your radio didn't just cut out. There just are no names to report.
There's nobody to report. He's not doing it. So him at 2, that's a past service award to have him at 2. So we'll grill Bill a little bit on that.
How many teams want Dabo? If you're starting a college football program, how many coaches do you take before Dabo?
Answer the question. I'll answer the question with a question. Did Alabama call him?
No.
Reportedly, no. He played at Alabama. If I would have said Saban leaves Alabama in 2020, like before his most recent national title, if I were to say that, their first call would have been to Dabo, and they would have offered him anything to come there and coach Alabama. Saban leaves after last year. They don't call him.
And there were still other people in the media who think like Bill with nobody else besides Kirby has won multiple national championships. And remember, they were still pushing it on Twitter and reporting that Alabama's first call has to be Dabo Swinney. And I remember on the show, we were like, I don't think so. Maybe they'll call him out of a courtesy because they have a relationship. He went there. But I did not see that as a true option for them, and they didn't do it.
No, they did not. They did not do it in any way, shape, or form. So he has Kalen DeBoer at number 3, coming off of leading Washington to a national championship game and now being the new head coach at Alabama. He's got our guy, Ryan Day, coming in at number 4. Brian Kelly is 5. There is one non-Power 5 coach in the top 10. Now Power 4. One non-Power 4, one non-Power 2. Sometimes I look at these and I forget which damn conference they're in. There's one non-Power 2 coach in the top 10. We'll tell you who that is, and we'll see if he got Ryan right. And furthermore, who's ranked too low and who's got next on this list. In addition to that, if you're going to watch the Big Ten championship game this season, it might not be where you think it's going to be. We'll get you the details on that as well. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Hey, Mountain Dew drinkers. It's the Mountain Dew Baja Blast 20th Baja-versary. 20 years of Baja Blast being a Taco Bell fan favorite. To celebrate this year, the tropical lime flavor of Baja Blast is in stores everywhere all year long. 366 days. That's right, it's a leap year. And for a limited time, you can collect coins for a chance to get Baja gear or a Taco Bell deal. The Mountain Dew Baja Blast 20th Baja-versary.
No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of US 18+, subject to official rules at BajaBlast.com and 6/15/24. Void where prohibited.
Hey guys, let's talk game. We watch the games, we talk about the games, but how's your game? Testosterone therapy can help you get back to your best. And there's no better time to get started than this spring. I recommend Low T Center. It's where I get my levels checked. At Low T Center, they'll make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and get your results in about 25 minutes. So if you often feel tired, noticing weight gain and loss of muscle mass, you may have low T levels. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Ready for an amazing deal? BreezeLine's fiber-powered internet, starting at $19.99 per month, offers the reliability you deserve and security you can trust. Whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, we've got all your needs covered with speeds up to 1 gig and our 2-year price lock guarantee. This deal gets even better with 2 free months of internet, free equipment, and free Wi-Fi your way to protect against cyber threats. Act now. Terms and conditions apply. Offer expires July 8th, 2024. Learn more at breezeline.com.
I'm Kelly Burris, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Columbus area attorneys. 10 West Broad Street, Suite 1550, Columbus, Ohio, 43215. CordellCordell.com.
Common Man and T-Bone.
If I took my clothes off, I think you'd be mildly impressed. Not by penal size, but just how everything was well proportioned. I don't think it's penal.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
Have you lost Ohio Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Our video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are cloudy. We're pretty soggy right now. We do have some improvements, though, as we head through the rest of the day. We'll begin to see a little bit of clearing, slowly watching those skies dry out by midday. Into the afternoon hours, 4, 5, 6 o'clock will be nice and dry. Clouds begin to move out, and we might see just a couple rays of sun before sunset. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s. Columbus hitting 69. I'm meteorologist Madison Reich with your Doppler 10 forecast on The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop and Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And of course, we're sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss, fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Bill Bender coming up here, 10:33. I'll grill him on his list here. I saw this yesterday. It snuck in. Well, the upfronts are going on, right? So everybody's doing the upfronts at the moment. So that's why these NFL games are being discussed. That's how you get those leaks going. Yesterday, we talked about the first couple of weeks on ABC, ESPN. They have their ABC, SEC logo is dropped, like those type of things. All of these things are happening. So I got the CBS thing yesterday afternoon, and I went, huh? Really? So in this draft, CBS got, what did they get? Michigan, USC?
They got Michigan, USC
and then they got
September 21st, Notre Dame at Purdue on September 14th, and then December 7th.
This one. Did Kevin Warren,
I think that's what happened.
You think? That's what I think.
That's what happened with NBC.
NBC's like, oh, yeah, we got a Big Ten championship game. Fox like, wait, what? Come again? You got what?
Because you go back to last week, we're talking to Ben Kuhn. He's talking, well, they really draft weekends, and then they get their first pick of the weekend. Well, there's only one game on December 7th, so I wouldn't think that that's in the draft, that somebody has just awarded that at the beginning of all the discussion. And now we've got one going to CBS. We know NBC has one coming up in the next few years. And that's what I think Kevin Warren just promised, whatever was necessary to get these networks to sign the line that is dotted and partner up with the Big Ten, and said, we'll figure it out later. But then he left, so this is later, and he's not even here, and it's time to pay the piper.
Do you think he's smart enough to like find a workaround with Fox? Like, it feels like Fox was kind of hoodwinked by this.
What is their...
Were they unaware?
First partner, we build Big Noon Kickoff around this, and then we get the culmination of the Big Ten season. That was kind of always the deal. So, what was the give back to Fox for this? Because I feel like there'd have to be something to basically say, oh, yeah, you guys have had the Big Ten title since we started partnering with you. Not anymore. It's on a rotation now.
Has the Big Ten championship game ever not been on Fox? I don't believe so.
Oh, now that you say that, yeah, because it's only been around for so long.
I don't think so.
I can't recall, yeah.
I don't think it has. And also, the Big Ten had to pay back $40 million to Fox.
Oh, there's the give back.
Like,
that was off the NBC one, right?
That was, I think, because Warren had promised it to NBC.
So this had to feel like this. It still feels like the same thing.
NBC and CBS and Fox sitting there going, no, you can't. Well, then pay us the money for those games.
Sure.
That's inventory we don't get to advertise.
So while all that drama was going on, we're at the $40 million payout back to Fox, and NBC saying, actually, no, we do have a Big Ten title game coming up. Did CBS just sit back the whole time and just say, oh, that's interesting, guys? And then just waited until they got to this draft and said, by the way, yeah, we have a Big Ten championship,
if you're CBS, or I guess, Boda, use your kids, if like you did something wrong and nobody's noticed, you kind of just go, all right, well, look around.
Never mind us.
See if everybody figures this out. If not, all right, we're golden.
It was like Bootsy when he dropped the $10 when he bought the V-Bucks. He just dropped it. Dad, there's $10 down there. If you, I don't know, if you might just want to pick it up. Just go ahead and pick it up. I don't know, it might be good. I don't know. No, it's fascinating. So you're going to get the CBS SEC music is going to be for the Big Ten championship game. And if you're drafting, to me, it feels like a sure thing. It feels like the Big Ten championship game is a sure thing.
It's now more valuable than it ever was.
Can you see a scenario where that's not a banger?
I don't see a scenario where it's not two top 10 teams.
Well, for sure. But I mean, it's either going to be, it feels like it's the two most likely scenarios are rematch between us and Oregon, or run it back, Ohio State, Michigan. If Michigan can survive all their schedule.
Yeah. And then you can also like throw in the wild card of, can USC put it back together this year, and is their defense improved? That's also another Ohio State.
You could have the first Ohio State USC Big Ten game. You could stumble into that.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
And someone's going to get slumped, but that's fine because it'll be two teams that'll have eyeballs on the product anyway.
Yeah, but it won't be the same slumping that it was.
It's not going to be like it used to be, though.
You don't think like that'll be Ohio State, Wisconsin with Cardale?
Northwestern running out?
Oh, boy.
Not if it's Oregon.
Okay.
I mean, because we play Oregon week 1. Oregon's not going to lose again. They shouldn't. Or we play them, I'm sorry, not week 1. That's like the first, it feels like week 1. That's the first monster game on the schedule. That's, what is that, first week in October or last week of September?
It's the 12th. I think there's Ohio State, Iowa the week before that.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So it's very likely that you're going to either play Oregon or Michigan for the Big Ten championship game. That game's going to be on CBS.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
So that's for their first year. Maybe that was part of the promise. Like, hey, if you're going to get rid of the SEC, you're going to, but it's just weird to me that the NBC one was reported on a year ago.
And this
one coming sooner was not on anybody's radar.
Yeah. It had to be that scenario. It had to be Warren promising things. Back to Bill's list. He has Ryan at number 4 on the list. I would have him ahead of Kalen, and I think he should be ahead of Dabo as well. I think Kirby is the clear one. When I think about like future casting, where this is going to be, like if you do this a year from now, Kirby and Ryan will be at the top. It feels like Sark is a fast riser if he can navigate. He's got his quarterback lineage lined up. He's going to go Ewers straight into Manning. Recruiting, they're doing a very good job of it. Lincoln, to me, is maybe a little too highly represented on this thing.
I don't think people know what to do with Lincoln Riley, because you can't, like, the defense isn't his baby, but it's his, it's his job, and he let Alex Grinch do that for so long. So it does lead me to question, can he get everything in line to make sure it works? Because you can't just do it all with a quarterback. It's the most important piece, but you need other things.
Yeah, I think Lanning's too low.
I agree with that.
He's got Lanning 12. I think that's much too low for him. I think he's top 5 to me. He was the first call Bama made. So to me, he's a top 5 guy. Norvell is probably a little low considering how he completely flipped Florida State and ran them to undefeated last year. He's probably a little bit too low. I love Kiffin. It could just be a soft spot in my heart I have for his antics. But to win and have a top 10 team at Ole Miss, that's noteworthy, man.
He's definitely the most fun coach in this top 10.
Yes.
I don't know. Dabo's got that drip. You forget.
I do forget. Yeah. You remember how he would warm up before NBA playoff games? Do you remember that? He'd go to NBA playoff games. I remember like the Cavs were playing the Raptors when LeBron was there, and he would go to the games, and then like prior to the game, like when people were in the stands, he'd go get shots up.
You're talking about Lane Kiffin right now?
No, Dabo.
Oh, Dabo.
Dabo did that. You remember this, Reese?
I don't remember this.
This is when he was
17, 18.
on top of the college football world. Could go anywhere he wanted to.
Yes.
Everybody knew who he was.
Okay.
And he would just, it was like Drake at Kentucky, just goofy antics.
Except not. But he would go to NBA playoff games, and there would be like, when there was an empty rim and there were people, he'd go get shots up.
Well, there was a line, though. He didn't hit on Board of Trustees' pregnant wives at gas stations like a former national championship coach.
No. That we know of. Clemson's a small place. It's very much all in play there.
But yeah, one more on Dan Lanning. I agree with you with him being in the top 5, especially with Kirby Smart number 1. And it's not just that Dan Lanning comes from that tree and that world. It's that he brought that world pretty clearly right away to Oregon. And now he's going into the Big Ten. And Kalen DeBoer is sitting here at number 3 on the list, right? He's, I think, going to have a lot more growing pains jumping to Alabama than Dan Lanning is still at Oregon jumping into the Big Ten. It's crazy for DeBoer, though. In 2020, he was the head coach at Fresno State. And now he's the head coach at Alabama, number 3 on this list.
Life comes at you fast.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of the example of it. It will be one of, we had Ryan in off the top of the hour. You think about how life came at him quick. You know, like he's position coach, he's NFL, he's bouncing back and forth, working in the NFL, those type of things. All of a sudden, Urban calls, and the next thing you know, you're the head coach at Ohio State, and you're like, wow, this all happened that quickly.
It's the old Littlefinger line from Game of Thrones. Chaos is a ladder. If you just stick around, things will happen around you, and a lot of times you can move your way up.
His demise at the hands of Sansa Stark was, right? Is that how that went?
Yes, because
she brought him up.
He brought her to Ramsey, right?
So Arya and Sansa plotted to have Littlefinger think they were against each other.
That's right.
And then once Jon Snow came to the north,
she needed him for the Knights of the Vale.
She needed him get the Knights for the Battle of Winterfell.
Because she promised herself to him as the reward for bringing the Knights of the Vale, and then they did it.
Yeah,
that show was so. That's
good. That's when it was great.
The show was so good until it wasn't.
Then they got Star Wars, and they said, "I had to hell with this."
Forget it. We're going to just make stuff up from here on out. I'm very curious. Bill's thoughts on Dabo, especially. We'll get his thoughts on that and who he sees as some of the risers in the sport coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on the Fan.
An ex-jock and a very puffy, smooth-faced man. These are the first voices you should hear. Morning Juice. Your wake-up service.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
FC Series presents Premier League giants Manchester City versus Chelsea. Don't miss the chance to see these great teams live at Ohio Stadium. Get your tickets now at fcseries.com.
Spring. It's a season full of new life and new opportunities to celebrate. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. From weddings and anniversaries to new babies and graduations, plus everything in between, there's no better place to discover the perfect gift for every occasion than the Diamond Cellar. As a true jeweler, we not only curate the finest selection of luxury jewelry from world-class designers, but we can also create something truly one-of-a-kind just for you. Visit the Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center.
Your bathroom is boring and basic too. It seems like there's nothing you can do. A better bath awaits. You'll feel brand new, relaxing in a world of peace at the Bath Authority.
And right now, get $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. It can all be installed in as little as 1 day.
You're our priority at the Bath Authority.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here from Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. We save our customers tons of money and frustration by simply inspecting their sewer, water, and drain lines with our high-tech cameras before there's a problem. Check out Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric at carpentercolumbus.com.
Ready to be the change and have a positive impact on your community? Consider joining the Columbus Division of Police. Starting pay is $70,000 plus, growing to 6 figures after 4 years of service. We offer paid vacations, paid holidays, and health insurance. Do you aspire to complete your degree? We offer 100% tuition reimbursement after you complete your first year of service. Contact the CPD recruiting unit at jobs@columbuspolice.org or apply online at columbus.gov/government/jobs. The City of Columbus is an equal opportunity employer.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
We see it every day. A guy comes into the men's clinic and guess what? The pills quit working, or they're sick of the side effects. And you know what else we see? Guys not confident in their relationship. At Columbus Men's Clinic, we're the leaders in bedroom confidence. Understanding if you even need ED or low T treatment should be the first step. And the next should be choosing the treatment or treatment combination to build your confidence. Our urologist and physician group is offering professional, modern treatments with success rates as high as 92% and decades of experience. Our doctors are not going to send you an email with what might work for most people. We are results-driven. Concierge. You don't pay for medication, it's included, but you invest in the time it takes to get you where you want to be. We've built an experience with discretion that takes the worry out of going to the doctor. In fact, we've normalized it for guys all over Columbus. Come see our friendly team in Columbus and find out why we've been #1 in men's health for years. Get a consultation and low T blood work with results on your first visit for $99. Get your confidence back in the bedroom and beyond. Go to columbusmensclinic.com and book your appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it. The trial of Bill Bender of the Sporting News on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Mr. Bender.
Hi.
I can't even do the shtick. Here's the. I guess this is what I'm curious about. We have you on and we have a chuckle. Is there a fan base that because you do something like this, like you're gonna get the reaction, right? Is there a fan base that over the years when you do this list, you look most forward to seeing either their uproar? It's usually uproar, right? Like that's usually the most fun. Is there one that you look forward to?
I mean, Tennessee in general, I'm going to be honest. Their fans get fired up because it's not so much where I put Heupel, it's where I put everyone else in the SEC.
Sure.
Not an easy list to do, as you know, and open to criticism. I think the hardest part about this year was you can find a flaw in everybody from 2 through 10.
Yeah.
And Kirby was easy at 1.
Mm-hmm.
But once you go 2 through 10, I probably got a complaint about every single coach 2 through 10. And I knew that was going to be the case with Saban leaving. You know, Saban was number 1 on this list from 2016 through this year, and I've done it for 10 years. It was really hard to do that top 10.
Well, how many years of the 10 years you've done it was just Urban once? Was he the only other one who's been number 1 since you've been doing it?
Yeah, Urban was number 1 in 2015. And here's the funny thing about that. I looked back, and I have the top 10 every year.
Yep.
And At top 10 in 2015, all 10 coaches, none of them are coaching college football. Crazy. I mean, like,
that's unbelievable.
Harbaugh's in the NFL. D'Antonio's gone. Patterson's gone. Urban, Saban, Chris Peterson. I think David Shaw cracked the top 10 that year. So, game, different list, and I assume we're going to talk about Dabo at some point.
Well, I was going to put you on trial for Dabo. That was where I was going to. That was going to be your Colonel Jessup line right there. Was going to be that if you can handle the truth. Okay, so let's do the Dabo thing. How do you balance past accomplishment? And obviously, you put a great deal of weight to past accomplishment to what he is now, which is, I mean, Bill. He doesn't participate in the portal. It seems like he's got a passing interest at best in recruiting. Their program is a shell of itself. It fell off a cliff really quickly. How did you kind of decide on that part of it?
Right. I mean, I still weigh the 2 national titles. Yeah. That's where I start every argument. I can defend Dabo at 2 on that. 3 through 10, nobody has a national title. So my way of saying yes, the portal. They are 30-10 the last 3 seasons. Now, a lot of programs would say, I'll take that.
Sure.
They have slipped a little bit. We talked about it. They've slipped since Ohio State beat them in the Sugar Bowl, and their offense isn't as good. But overall accomplishments at a program like Clemson, they got to prove it this year, though. They've got to get in the playoff and those kind of things. Otherwise, yeah, I could replace him with a Ryan Day or a Kalen DeBoer or whoever breaks through out of that top 10.
You know, the irony of the irony that Dabo replaced Bobby Bowden's son is never lost on me, because I feel like what Dabo built at Clemson was almost an exact doppelganger for what Bobby built at Florida State. Bowden built his in an SEC footprint in the shadow of SEC programs around. Bowden built a program, a faith-based program was a big part of it, and that's what Dabo did too. The end for Bowden was not kind. It's hard at the end, right? But he was in his 80s by the time it was done. This is still a young guy. And I said this in the first, at the top of the hour here when we were discussing your list a little bit. 4 years ago, you would have said Saban leaves Bama, Dabo Swinney's on the first train, plane, private jet, whatever it takes to Tuscaloosa, like they would have done anything in their power. He didn't get a call. Do you think he will adapt, or will he just go down with this ship?
Well, if he keeps going this, you're going to have to adapt some. Everybody has to. And if he doesn't, he will sink. And I saw On Three's top 25 had him, I think, number 6, number 7. So I guess that's our way of saying he's hard to rank.
He is.
He's really hard to rank because of that, because on one hand, I'm like, man, this is Clemson. I watched them beat Alabama. I was there. I watched them just beat Alabama twice.
Yeah.
And they've climbed by beating all the heavyweights. So, and they've got to get in the 12-team playoff on a regular basis playing in the ACC. I think that's a fair statement, too.
You have, talking to the great Bill Bender of the Sporting News, his list of top 25 coaches in college football is out. Encourage you to read it. It's always fun, well-researched, well thought out, as you can tell. One other guy that I was surprised where you had him was Dan Lanning. You had Dan at 12. Now, I'll acknowledge that I am big on what potentially he seems to be building there. But to me, I would have probably had him a little higher than that. How did you decide on Lanning at 12?
No, my editor's going to agree with you on that one. We went back and forth on Lanning, and I said, and it's funny, I'm getting complaints about where Kalen is, and Dan's not high enough. And I'm like, did y'all watch the game?
Oh, yeah.
Kalen beat Dan twice. He beat him twice. Now, Lanning, I'm with you. If you look at the records, the last 2 years, what he's built, you know what I think? Like Dan Lanning too. He's young. He's energetic. We remember the clips from taking out Dion. He took out Dion essentially. He ended Colorado last year.
Yep.
The fourth downs are polarizing. Younger guys you're about my age, but the younger guys love going for fourth down. I'd rather kick the field goal.
Yeah.
But that's who I am. For him to scream into the top 5 next year, he's a guy that if they were to win a national title, I'd probably put him 2 or 3 right away.
Yeah, he's one I just believe it. I think the other thing that happens too is you get skewed by the fact that Bama called him first, right? Like you say, well, if they wanted him most, then there must be a lot to him. I'll tell you a guy that that there's a lot of these guys that are on the cusp guys. Our guy's that. Ryan's that. Kalen DeBoer's that. Steve Sarkisian's that. Mike Norvell, although the conference could harm him. It feels like Lincoln Riley, maybe the window came and went. When you look at kind of when he went to SC, the thinking was, well, now look out. It's all going to happen. And it hasn't. He won the Heisman, but with Caleb, but they haven't gotten it done on the defensive side. You look at what they're doing in the portal and in recruiting, it's not what I assumed it would be at USC. Does it match up to what you thought it would be at USC for Lincoln right away?
No, and they don't play defense.
None.
And that's why. I mean, the last 2 years, there's no defense. So when, I see predictions for next season and people saying, well, USC could go up to Ann Arbor and win, I'm like, are they bringing a defense with them to Ann Arbor? I don't know. That's one thing I hear. His record's outstanding, though, and he's obviously been to the playoffs. He was tough to rank. And I'm going to ask you one because this is one I went back and forth.
Okay.
And I know you have some experience at Florida State. Should Kyle Whittingham be ahead of Mike Norvell? That's probably the one I struggled with the most.
Kyle Whittingham, that's a really hard. You have them right next to each other, and I think you have them both in about the right spot. So it feels to me like Whittingham is the more steady, consistent, sure thing. And we just need to see that from Norvell. All the while acknowledging what Mike did in short order to clean up Jimbo, and then the mess that followed. The Jimbo moved to A&M, and then the hire that followed. That what Norvell did to clean that up, because they were, hanging on by a thread. Is really a job that's not probably talked about enough, Bill. But I think you probably have it right. I think you have it right, just from the standpoint of Norvell has to stack it. He can't be a flash in the pan. I don't think that he is. But I do think he needs to stack it. I would have them. I don't have a problem. I think you have those right.
Good. Well, yeah. I mean, that was.
That's a tough one, though.
With it. And Kalen and Ryan Day's a tough one, honestly, because I could put Ryan Day 3. I mean, we all know. Like, I know you guys had him in this morning. I don't know if he's listening right now, but I mean, obviously his success is amazing. His success is amazing. And, if they break through and win a national title with the cards that they have this year and they beat Michigan and they win the Big Ten, he'll be number 2 behind Kirby. I mean, and maybe he beats Kirby. Maybe him and Kirby go at it this year. I mean, those are the 2 best teams.
I think that's it. It's Ryan, it's Kalen, it's Steve. Because I think Texas is trending in that way. You have 3 young coaches at monster programs that have rosters that are ready to go. And obviously the roster here is better than any of them. But Kalen roster is still pretty good at Bama. Steve's roster at Texas is great. Any one of those guys could climb the mountaintop this year, Bill, and be number 2 on this list next year when we're doing this exact same segment.
A lot of people don't like where I have Sark. And I
too low or too high?
Too high. And here's the thing.
I don't see that.
And I think you do this too. I give more credit to guys that coach the Superstore programs and they don't drive it off the cliff. All of those guys you mentioned have done that. They've all done a fantastic job. Well, we'll see with Kalen in Alabama. I would almost give him more credit if he does well this year because he just replaced Nick Saban. So, and you got to weigh in guys like the one I'm getting a lot of heat about is Lance Leopold. And I understand that. I understand the job he's done at Kansas. I get it. But to me, Freeman coaching at Notre Dame, harder job than Lance Leopold coaching at Kansas. As long as he gets to them to bowl games, they're happy.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman is under the microscope every single week at Notre Dame.
Totally different. I couldn't agree with you more. Great stuff. And I look forward to booking you at this time next year, and we'll do it all over again.
The trial's over. I think I'm not guilty by reason of insanity. That's probably the one we'd go with here, right?
Good job, Eddie. I agree. Good job out of you, my friend.
Hey, thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, that's our good buddy Bill Bender of the Sporting News on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Marty Brenneman here for Tri-State Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health for treating erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues. And they're the leader for a reason, because I can tell you from my own experience of being treated there, Tri-State Men's Health is top shelf. Far too many men wait to get their ED treated, but I want to tell you today that you shouldn't wait any longer. If you're suffering with ED and are like most guys, a medical team at Tri-State Men's Health will get you back on track fast. They have the experience, they have the treatment protocols, and they know what they're doing. At Tri-State Men's Health, they have ED treatments that are effective in well over 90% of men. They can even combine treatments for better results. You might even find yourself performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment today. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. They have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Save big on fuel with M-Perks. Earn points on your Meijer purchases in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save up to $1 off per gallon of gas at Meijer. Claim your M-Perks fuel rewards on the Meijer app and ID at the pump to save. Plus, earn points for qualifying Meijer Express purchases and look for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more. 10 cents to $1 off per gallon based on points earned. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons.
DraftKings Sports and Social is now open in Columbus Short North. Get ready for the ultimate experience where sports and the party collide into an atmosphere unlike any other. Visit sportsandsocial.com/Columbus and follow us on social for details. DraftKings Sports and Social. Drink, eat, be social.
We go to war for you. At Schroeder Schnarr Trial Attorneys, we don't back down. Accident? Call us today at 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com for a free consultation. Results matter because we go to war for you. warforyou.com.
Tee to Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we're at Muirfield Village to set the stage for next month's Memorial Tournament, plus SI.com's Bob Herrig from the PGA Championship.
Tee to Green with Skip Mosick, presented by X-Golf, Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
Right now during cheap 4x4 season, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for $379 a month for 42 months with $3,837 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial Services. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 6/3/2024. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Ohio Mulch, Landscape Supply.
Hi, this is Ron Frost with Ohio Mulch, and here's to Ohio Mulch celebrating 40 years of making the community a greener and more beautiful place, one garden at a time. Don't miss out on the opportunities to elevate your outdoor space and to be part of a journey towards the next 40 successful years. Check out our promotions online at ohiomulch.com.
Ohio Mulch, Landscape Supply. Cleaner, greener, better.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Now at UDF, buy 3 everyday favorites with UDrive Plus to quickly stack an extra 20 cents in gas savings. That includes drinks like Coke and Sprite, Pepsi, and Mountain Dew. And that adds up. UDF, made for you. Specially marked products with an opted-in UDrive account.
If you're searching for the best burgers in the game, find them at Twin Peaks all month long. It's National Hamburger Month, and these seasoned, smashed, and seared burgers are waiting to be discovered. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails, top-shelf spirits, local craft beers, and handcrafted whiskey cocktails. And don't forget about our 29-degree drafts. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com.
Want to know anything about the Fan's contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, or whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a First Friday edition. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing?
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
All right, so this one has been developing for a number of years and still developing now, but another hurdle has been passed. UCLA could pay the University of California at Berkeley $10 million a year for 3 years instead of 6 as a result of the Bruins' upcoming move to the Big Ten and the demise of the Pac-12. The University of California Board of Regents Special Committee on Athletics voted 7-1 during a meeting at UC Merced. I copied this right from the AP. Merced?
UC Merced?
Okay,
I've never heard of it.
It feels like it should be Mercer, but this was how it was written. On Tuesday, to cut down the length of the payments, UC President Michael Drake, we remember him, recommended 6 years in a report going into the meeting. The matter, nicknamed Calimony by UCLA and Cal supporters, will come up for another vote by the full Board of Regents on Thursday if there is a significant change in revenues and or expenses for either school exceeding 10% over 2024-2025 projections. UCLA's contribution can be reevaluated by the Regents. In order for the Regents to affirm UCLA's move to the Big Ten in December 2022, the university agreed to pay UC Berkeley between $2 million and $10 million because of how the move would affect the Cal athletic program. Thing or not a thing?
I mean, it's all a thing. It feels like a good deal for UCLA. Like that essentially they're going to get $30 million that they're going to owe over 3 years.
They're clearing $50 million more than Cal is.
Yeah. So that this was always the big hang up when they were trying to, find a way to keep the Pac-12 together was like, would the California university system not allow for it? And I was a proponent at the time, and I still would be now, of just taking them all in the Big Ten, just taking Cal and Stanford and creating a West wing of the Big Ten. I think there would have been a market for that.
California schools,
yeah. I think there would have been a market for that. They chose not to. I get it. Obviously, they don't move the needle the way that the other programs do. UCLA's athletic department was in shambles. Marge Ramon trying to dig it out of it. The Big Ten was a necessary move for them. The Cal athletic department is in shambles. It's hard to have as many sports as they're trying to have without having the income of 105,000 people at a game, let alone the television discrepancy. So it's a win, I think, for UCLA, which is what we care about most.
And because it was the first domino for the Big Ten, they got the full payout when them and USC got the full payout. Right. Yeah.
So there is a University of California at Merced.
Okay.
It's in Merced, California. I read it as UC Mercked. But this is a big thing. I mean, I think a lot of people were saying like USC was just dragging little brother along because they wanted to keep that rivalry together coming into the Big Ten. But this would help to avoid anybody going to court again, which I think we can all agree we're pretty sick of.
Yeah.
Just going to court over various college athletic or college football things. So we talked about Mac Brown earlier in the show. He was on Late Kick with Josh Pate, who Josh Pate's doing a country tour.
He really is. He was here, right?
He was here with Coach Day. Last month, he was on with Steve Sarkisian, I think last week. Here's him talking with Mac Brown and getting Coach Brown's opinion on name, image, and likeness.
I don't think we're going to change and be more like the NFL because the kids didn't ask for this. NFL guys go into it knowing they're getting paid. No, not one player asked to be paid. This was on us. Adults made these decisions. So when fans tell me I don't want to watch them anymore, they're just after the money. They're really not. They are wonderful young people who fight their guts out every day to do what's right, and we just happen to say we're going to pay you for it. Now, if somebody tells me, Texas told me they're going to give me a huge raise after the national championship, I didn't ask for it. I don't know that it was best for the sport, but I darn sure wasn't going to turn it down. That's the kids. If you give for them some money, they're going to take it. But are they going to practice hard and they're going to play hard? I don't believe they'll walk out on you anymore and there's no loyalty. I don't believe all that. I love these kids. And I just think we've put a ton on their backs for mental health, and we need to start making sure that this thing gets simplified. I like to take complicated things and simplify them, and we're a little complicated right now, and we need to get it simplified for them.
Thing or not a thing?
I think it's an accurate thing.
It keeps pulling me in different directions.
But he said the big thrust of that, Reese, was the kids didn't ask for it. They didn't. The reason this kept coming up is because it was former players after they're done. When you're in the middle of it, you're not asking for it. They've gotten it. They've gotten the NAL. Now they have it, and now they want to make more of it, and you can't blame them for that. But no, there weren't guys asking for a revenue share where they were in college. It's one of the reasons that nothing ever got done is because by the time you realized how much money was being made off of your back, you were moving on to the next thing.
Yeah, it was always very similar to...
He's right.
Younger kids at the end of high school, beginning of college, they really care about the drinking age being lowered. But once you turn 21, nobody cares about it anymore. But
it's a great analogy.
This was finally a time where the guys who graduated out of it went back and said, no, this actually should be good. Yeah, that one was like, I couldn't tell where he was going at first, but eventually once I heard the whole statement, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I think
he's right.
I think Mac Brown is right. Because he also got to the point where he's like, they offered me a raise after I won a national championship. Of course I took it. I didn't ask for it, but I got it. And that's where the players are now. And I think that's always been the biggest thing that like people misconstrue. That's what we all do. We're all motivated by getting paid to do our jobs, but we have other motivations on top of it. And just because somebody's getting paid doesn't mean that they're not going to work out anymore. They're not going to try to run faster. No. They're not going to stay after and work on the jugs machine if they're a wide receiver.
I think the thing he said there that is that, you know, he really kind of bristled at, and I can hear this because I hear it all the time. I'm sure you guys do too. You'll hear people come up and say, oh, they're just greedy. They just want money. No, they don't. No, they don't. And guess what? If somebody offered you more money for doing something you're already doing, you'd take it too. And that's where you're at. So I think that's the part he was really honing in on there.
Last one real quick. This is from a verified Twitter account, but who knows what that means anymore. Oh, yeah. Baby Gronk 5. Baby Gronk has flipped to Michigan, class of 2031, and it's a whole graphic. Apparently he was committed to Ohio State before Michigan, and here we are. Thing or not a thing?
I saw this yesterday, and this was one of the ones where the X algorithm corrected and said, this person was not offered a scholarship by anybody. Like it actually was one of the truth things underneath it. Said that. Look, there's a lot funny about this, but there is also something, this will not end well.
No.
This is not going to end well. It reminds me a little bit, you remember Danny Clark? The kid at Massillon who committed as a freshman. And he played in college. He played at Kentucky. Ended up going to Vanderbilt, I think. I'm not sure what ended up happening to him. He had a little brother as well, but he was the prototype. It was all Tate Martell a little bit. Like,
way back to Todd Marinovich.
Yeah, Todd Marinovich, way back. Let your kids be kids. There's no rush. They'll be found. Ryan Day will find them. It's not hard. If they're good, he'll find them. You don't need to do all of this stuff that you're doing. And it's just, there were in that same video before that, they showed like some other kids like really running their mouth at him in like some 7-on-7 stuff. And it's like, why are we filming 12-year-olds? He's a fifth grader, so he's 11. He's a year younger than NBC. And they're filming it, and he's got followers, and we're creating this persona. This will end poorly.
Just like, well, I mean, I hope it ends poorly for the dad or whoever is in charge of all of it.
But if it ends poorly for the dad, it's going to end poorly for the kid.
Yeah, dad goes down, baby Gronk goes with him. I mean, I was just on his Twitter feed, like he just graduated the 5th grade. So it's like,
it's ridiculous.
What are we doing? But also, bad job out of you by not asking Ryan Day, like, what the hell happened?
What happened there, man?
He was sitting next to you, and you just let him off the hook.
I let him off the hook.
Why did we get baby Gronk, damn it?
Oh, my God. Poor kid. Be the adults in the room, people. All right, we'll hit a little Hey Guys coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants. The pervert and the skivvies. Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis.
The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State is designed
to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis.
We are transforming care by giving patients direct access
to cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
Choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. You know what Rich is up to? He's got Memorial Day sales going all month long. Interest rates starting as low as 1.90% on the 2024s. The Civic LX sedan, the Accord LX sedan, and CRV LX two-wheel drives. And he's going to throw you an extra $1,000 for your trade. He wants to give you the best deal in town, and you will not be disappointed. Germain Honda of Dublin is my Honda dealer in Central Ohio, and hopefully yours on Sawmill Parkway just south of 270.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey there, friends. Beau here. You planning that summer vacation? Skip the long lines and the crowded cities. Get away in an RV from my friends at RCD RV. Summer nights will soon be calling, and RCD RV is here to take your camping experience to the next level. They provide the best brands, the best service, awesome after-sales support. They are family-owned and operated in Central Ohio for over 50 years. You will feel it the second you walk on one of their lots. Over 650 new and pre-owned RVs in stock. 3 locations to serve you in Central Ohio or online anytime at RCD. RV.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. If you like schedule games, we'll have a schedule game tomorrow. The NFL will announce their entire 2024 slate tonight at 8. A handful of games have been released over the last 72 hours, including the International Series, which will feature 5 games in 3 different countries, but no AFC North team was picked to travel this year. The NFL also made it official this morning. Their Christmas Day doubleheader will be on Netflix. Christmas is on a Wednesday this year. Also announced the New York Giants will be the featured team on HBO's Hard Knocks this summer. In the NBA tonight, it's winner go home for the Cavaliers tonight in Boston for Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Semis. Celtics have a 3-1 lead. Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen are questionable. Mitchell missed Monday's Game 4 with a calf strain. If Cleveland can escape with a win, they'll host Game 6 on Friday. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Dr. Mark Levy a call to 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a First Friday miracle edition of the program. Time for a little hey guys. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
All right, best one here gets the $50 gift card and the free distillery tour and a tasting for up to 10 people to our great friends at High Bank. And we're talking about High Bank. You're talking about the best blended whiskey in America. That was 3 years running, most awarded spirit at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Again, support local. Grab a bottle. This one's just so easy, folks. I talk about it all the time. The ready-to-drink cocktail, the Midnight Manhattan. It's their twist on the classic Manhattan. It's ready for you. You pop the top, pour over some rocks, and away you go. Find High Bank's award-winning local spirits at a liquor store near you. Learn more about their Whiskey War line and Midnight Manhattan at highbankdistillery.com.
This first one's from Nathan, and we may have to save the bulk of this one for June, but I like the idea, so we'll maybe condense it a little bit. It says, hey guys, taking the last 12 national champions, how would you rank them in the 12-team format, and who wins it all? So it's a lot to go through.
God. I mean, in my head, I'm thinking, like that week after the Major League Baseball All-Star game, could we do like a day on each matchup that feels like that?
But like, what's the best team? Who are the top 4 seeds?
All right, so I think the number one to me, how far am I going back?
The last 12 champions, so 2022 to what would that be, 2011 or 2010? It gets you right into Auburn, Alabama, BCS era, so Cam Newton and then Alabama in 11.
So in my head, Burrow LSU would be the 1 seed.
I was thinking that too.
I would say 2020 Alabama might be the 2.
There's
a Clemson team is the Lawrence Clemson team was up. Weren't they up like 20 on Bama at half?
But was the 16, the Deshaun team, better?
They won at that's Hunter Renfrow walk-off from Deshaun. That team might have been better. Here's the problem for us. And this is an Ohio State issue going back 50 years. Our best teams haven't hung banners. The 14 team won the national title. 15 was more talented, right? You could argue 19 Ohio State is as good as any we've had. 10 things had to happen. We lose to Clemson. Go back to the 90s and some of the teams that Coop had that would lose to Michigan State in 98 or the loss in 96 to Michigan, 95, like those type of things. Some of Tress's teams. Bob, you talked to Bob or Threes. AJ, you talked to those guys. God, 05 was probably the best team we had. They had 2 losses.
Yeah.
Like our best teams didn't win it. So it's the damnedest thing from that perspective.
But yeah,
so I don't know
think it's a good discussion, but I think it'll require just a little bit more prep and like parameters to it for us to go with it. But I like the idea.
Yeah,
and then we could go through the bracket.
I think when all is said and done, and you look back, that time, that LSU team, the heater they got on in November, they won in Tuscaloosa, and then it was a steamroll. It was a steamship. I mean, didn't they crush Oklahoma in the semifinal?
I think it was. They crushed whoever it was. It was before
they were up like 50 to.
Clemson
I mean,
game,
buried them. And then they buried Clemson. So yeah, I mean that they feel like the one to me.
We didn't even talk really about the Georgia teams and how good those two were, and plus this Michigan squad this past year.
Which is the Georgia? Would the Georgia team of record be the one? Not the one we lost to. It would probably be the one before.
I think 21 was the better version. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Stetson Bennett was better in 22.
Sure, but that defense in 21 that's a real one.
Also, one more note on it. I'm on an NCAA, like NCAA.com, college football national champions. They don't have Michigan listed as 2023 yet. So I don't know. Is that just laziness and nobody's doing it, or do they not want to recognize it because it's under investigation?
Or maybe, Reese, they're going to yank it.
Yeah, that's still going to be a possibility until it's not. If we're going to be like seeding them, would 14 Ohio State be the 12 seed? If you're seeding them based off of how they did in the regular season.
Man, that's such a tough team to rank because they were playing so much. I think we would still get into like 13 Florida State and 14 Ohio State.
Sure. 13 Florida State was a real one.
That's true.
That's Jameis's Heisman year. Kelvin Benjamin at receiver. Jalen Ramsey was on that team.
I'm holding them back for the next year.
You're holding 14 against them. 13 was a problem. They were a problem. We were going to play them. We lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten championship game where we would have played them. In the Rose Bowl. But no, that was a squad. I would say 14 Ohio State and probably 23 Michigan would be the ones but Michigan beat everybody they played. So what do you do? I mean, they beat Bama. It's tough. That part's tough. There's probably a Bama team in there. Isn't there like a Jacob Coker Bama team?
There are definitely some Bama teams that once you look into it a little bit more, that you're like, yeah.
It feels like that in 15 Bama won it. I'm not sure if that was that was a monster Bama team in 15.
Reese, you got one over there from the fans' YouTube channel?
I have several. If you are unaware, we are on YouTube now.
There you go.
You can watch us and listen to us at the exact same time. Yeah, wave to the cameras, boys. Wave to the cameras. This comes from Rich. Hey, guys, I know Chops is an Iowa fan. Are any of you fans of other college programs? And how do you handle this if they played against the Buckeyes?
Oh, this is the same thing I do with my kids. So, like, they love the Buckeyes, but then I'm like, hey, pick some other teams so that there's more fun to watch, right? I do that with the NFL, too. Like, they love the Browns, but, like, have another team. So if they don't get to the postseason, we can have fun and you can root for somebody else. I have great affection for the programs I've covered. So I have great affection for Florida State. As a kid, I loved Colorado because they were the closest, best team to where I grew up. I've always had an affinity for Texas's program, even though I've never been to Austin. I just like the look of it and everything about it. So I always kind of root for them a little bit. And then I root for coaches. Like I love the mix of Kiffin at Ole Miss. I like SMU. I like the scandal at SMU. I like the underbelly at SMU. I root for all of those things. So yeah, there's all sorts of ones. But obviously they play Ohio State. That's not. There's no issue. But there's plenty of ancillary teams I like.
What about when the Bobcats play the Buckeyes?
I'm rooting for the Bobcats.
You should.
Stand up and cheer, baby. Ohio State's got enough fans. OU's never going to beat Ohio State on the field of football.
It's weird because
that cat did take out Brutus.
He whooped Brutus's ass.
He did. I was there.
It's starting to happen more, but there have been long swaths where Ohio State and Iowa just don't play.
Right.
So it actually hasn't come up all that often in my lifetime. I find that when the games do actually happen, we had one here in the Horseshoe just a couple of years ago. We're going to have another one in the Horseshoe this season. It's hard for me to take the negative in. It's like when a positive play happens, like live watching it, if I'm being truthful, when a positive play happens for either team, I feel the excitement for each team.
For both, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just it's a very strange feeling. And yes, I wouldn't have chosen this if it was, but I'm from there. It's what I grew up watching. It's a connection with my family, so it's what I have to deal with. It's my burden
The burden of Chumps, the Hawkeye burden.
We want to stick with some on the YouTube. Again, youtube.com. Just search 971 The Fan, and we're right there in your eyeballs.
There you go.
Matt asks, hey, guys, if the station had a redraft of all the shows and personnel, you get the number one pick. Who are you picking to host a show with you, and what time spot?
Let's say we can't pick each other just so we don't have to go through that rigmarole of no, we love being with each other. So somebody else.
The only person...
I mean, you just hugged AR. I can't.
Well, but he and I used to do a show.
Yeah.
So the only person on this, I'm pretty sure this is true. I think the only person at this station I've not done a show with is Brother Bone.
Yeah? Just never lined up for that, that crossover.
I've done shows with Mike. Mike and I used to TV. Like the archives are in this building somewhere of Mike and I and Dom in black.
How did Mike like TV?
We had a good time. It was fun. Yeah, it was very fun. And I've done Mike's show. This is 15 years ago on a couple of instances, and we had a good time. Bob, I used to do a show with Bob. I did a show with AR. Done a show with Beam. Done a shows with you guys. Done several years of shows with AR.
Maddie was your producer.
Maddie was our producer. Yep. So I've done shows with Maddie. I'm pretty sure the only person. So I guess Brother Bone, because he's the only one I haven't done a show with. I know I've done shows with Tim, too. Yeah, so that, I think just Brother Bone would be the only one.
I think I've done the show. I'm trying to remember if I've ever done one. I've definitely produced while Beam has hosted, so I guess that crossover counts. And I've produced for Bobby, but I've never sat across from Bobby. But I do. Bone would be really fun, but Mike as well. When I was filling in hosting and bouncing around to different shows, people love that show in the afternoon. I just like how silly it gets, and it opens up a different part of my brain that I like going back and forth with that you can't recreate anywhere else. It's not like we can try to do that here. It has to be with one of those two guys for it to go, but it kind of just scratches a different part of my brain. As far as time slots go, honestly, I think ours is the best.
It's pretty good.
No, this time slot works. I've never done a show with AR, so I'd pick Rothman.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Tim. I've done shows with Tim, and all I would have to do if I were driving that show, just throw a name of a sports person at him, and I would turn my mic off.
I'll see you down the road.
Go to the bathroom. Go take care of something out there.
See you at the commercial break, bud.
Tim did a lot of solo shows back in the day. When you get in that habit.
Wouldn't make it one day in the asylum he was raised.
All right.
That was pretty good.
One more real quick from Zach. What was the best joke at the Tom Brady roast?
So the what's the Glazer?
Nikki Glazer?
Nikki Glazer's set was like, that the gif of Tony Montana, and it's just
yeah.
That's what that was. It was just, or Rambo. There's a Rambo gif.
Say hello to my little friend moment.
Yeah, just machine gun. She got off so fast that I went and rewatched it back a second time. It's a joke, a 5-second. They're jokes on top of jokes.
It's the one that stood out to me was you lost $30 million on crypto? Even Gronk was like, me know that, not real money.
That was unbelievable. But there was a Gronk one right after it. I thought her set was the best. There was that one was great. There was also one about his ex-wife that was quite good. Which she was 1,000 miles an hour. She was pitching fastball.
Which now, after it, he's taking like umbrage with like people, and it's like you have to know what you're signing up for, man. It's a roast. You didn't expect people to make personal jokes.
I think he's just doing that for the public.
Yeah,
I think he knew what he signed up for.
It's weird. Like if Julian Edelman had landed the "you can't even get a job at East Foxborough High," if you'd done like the proper punchline and landed it correctly, that would have been the best one. Talking about how when he was a player, Bill would always say, kids at Foxborough High can make that catch. He's like, you couldn't even get a job there. If that had hit, crushed it. But it didn't, because I think he was probably on stuff.
It's also it could be also one of those things where it's one thing to have a joke in concept. It's another thing to deliver it.
Yep.
And
People don't
He's a professional athlete.
People don't realize the timing that stand-up comedy requires. It's not just reading the words.
Yeah. All right, we got to pick a winner. Are we gonna go YouTube?
Yeah, I like Matt's question.
Was that the redraft?
Yep.
All right, yeah, redraft. Yeah, because it occurred to me. Yeah, no Brother Bone work. So Matt, you get it. You get the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. You get the free distillery tour as well, and the tasting for up to 10. You're talking about the best blended whiskey in America, kids. It's right here in town. Drink the best, forget the rest with High Bank Distillery. Ryan Day was on with us first hour of the program. Have some of the highlights of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Death, taxes, and beating Michigan every damn year. This is your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We see it every day. A guy comes into the men's clinic and guess what? The pills quit working, or they're sick of the side effects. And you know what else we see? Guys not confident in their relationship. At Columbus Men's Clinic, we're the leaders in bedroom confidence. Understanding if you even need ED or low T treatment should be the first step. And the next should be choosing the treatment or treatment combination to build your confidence. Our urologist and physician group is offering professional, modern treatments with success rates as high as 92% and decades of experience. Our doctors are not going to send you an email with what might work for most people. We are results-driven. Concierge. You don't pay for medication, it's included, but you invest in the time it takes to get you where you want to be. We've built an experience with discretion that takes the worry out of going to the doctor. In fact, we've normalized it for guys all over Columbus. Come see our friendly team in Columbus and find out why we've been #1 in men's health for years. Get a consultation and low T blood work with results on your first visit for $99. Get your confidence back in the bedroom and beyond. Go to columbusmensclinic.com and book your appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
Right now during Cheap 4x4 season, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for $379 a month for 42 months with $3,837 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial Services. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 6/3/2024. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Spring is a season full of new life and new opportunities to celebrate. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Anniversaries, new babies, graduations, plus everything in between, discover the perfect gift for every occasion. Visit us at the Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Watch us live or on demand by searching 971 The Fan. Which fan host will awkwardly scratch their privates? Let's find out together. Find us on YouTube, The Fan.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
Low Fiber Business is now in Ohio, and your business is our priority.
Glow Fiber delivers reliably fast, custom, and prepackaged internet plans to meet the growing needs of your business. And our dependable 24/7 personal support means your business stays connected. Glow Fiber is here, and we mean business. Find out more at 833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiberbusiness.com today. Glow Fiber Business is not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Is your IRS tax debt making you feel anxious? The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to negotiate your fresh start. Call them now, 800-230-5174.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are pretty cloudy right now with some widespread showers. Those continue through midday before slowly tapering off this afternoon and into the evening. By 4 or 5 o'clock, we're mostly dry except for a stray shower here or there. Skies begin to clear shortly after that, and we'll see a little bit of sunshine before sunset, helping our temperatures. We're starting in the 60s and ending in the mid to upper 60s. Columbus hitting 69. I'm meteorologist Madison Reg with your Dopplerton forecast on The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop and Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Fellas, generally we talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction, other men's sexual health issues. Today I want to talk a little bit about love, because love is the best reason to get yourself treated. If you have ED, it can be a major relationship destroyer. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, even contribute to divorce. And that's where you go see my friends at Tri-States Men's Health. Their treatments work where the pills and herbals fail. They have treatments with success rates well over 90%. 6 locations now, including 2 in town, 1 in Hilliard, 1 in Westerville. Schedule a consult, Tri-State Men's Health today. Your initial visit, $99, includes a medical consult, licensed medical provider, that TNPSA test, if medically advised, a test dose. If the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Give them a call today, 800-900-9654, or visit tristatemenshealth.com for more on that. We had Ryan Day on with us the first hour of the program. First 2 segments we had Coach Day on. Very gracious of him to give the station here an hour of his time. Did the last 2 segments of Morning Juice and then followed with 2 with us. Wide-ranging conversation, and we have all of that would be on the social channels, and we'll have it wherever you get your podcasts as well, also on YouTube if you would like to watch me talk with Coach Day. But among the highlights, at least in terms of the football side of it, were the conversations we had about the quarterback. And one of the things I asked him is, they talked a lot in spring about rolling the reps with 5 quarterbacks, and what would that look like? Obviously, that can't happen in the fall. Here was his answer to that.
Well, it happens in recruiting, and I say this all the time to some of the elite players. I said, you know, one of the recruiting pitches you're going to hear from other schools is don't go to Ohio State, they're loaded. Mm-hmm. Well, Marvin Harrison it didn't matter to him that there was 4 or 5 stars in that room, or the fact that, you know, Travion embraced when Quinshawn came in, and Quinshawn came in knowing Travion was going to be here. But it's the same thing in that quarterback room. You know, if you want to come to Ohio State, you're going to want to compete. Mm-hmm. And that's the way we do it in the offseason. That's the way we do it on the field. We want to compete at the highest level. The cool thing is you make it here, you make it anywhere.
That's right.
But I think what's most important about the quarterback's room is that they have to feel like they're getting better, that they're getting developed, because that's just as important as anything as a quarterback. You can go to a lot of places. Maybe you can play, but are you really getting developed? I think these guys believe in that.
Yeah, and he went over the plan in terms of having a second field at times where they can run some guys through reps there. But the reality is really only one is going to be the starter, and then beyond that, what does that look like? And so I asked him directly, do you have a timeline on quarterback? Here's what he had to say.
It's going to be a huge part of our season. Is the quarterback playing, how well the quarterback plays. I mean, we know that. We know how important the offensive line play is going to be. We know how important the quarterback play is going to be. We're not shying away from that, And typically, The defense is going to be strong, and how well they play late in the season is going to be critical. But it always comes down to the quarterback, and so that's a big part of it. In terms of a deadline, I don't like to do that. Because this is something where a lot of those guys are working towards it, and I want to make sure that we're doing what's right by them, but at the same time do right by the team to make sure that we're prepared. And I think the way that things turned out last year, it kind of went into the first couple games of the season. That's not ideal.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't like to do that again this year. But it's gonna come down to playing the best players, and I say that all the time. Like, we don't have time to not play the best players. So they'll be in competitive situations, and may the best man win.
Yeah, I know that you'd never give this access, but I'd love to see the day-to-day of what that looks like of developing the young guys, and then at the same time, someone's got to be 10 foot tall and bulletproof rolling into Eugene, and the lessons from a year ago, how does it all play out? I mean, any one of us can ask Coach 1,000 different ways how he's going to handle that. He's never going to tell you, because there's no benefit to him doing it now, to doing it. There's no benefit to him saying, well, this is what we're going to do. It's going to be Will, and, Devin will be on his heels, and then, we're going to try to prepare so-and-so after that, or that's really what our priority is. He's not doing that, because guess what? He recruited all of these guys, and he loves all of them, and he's like any of us would be. He's greedy. He wants them all. You want them all. And so they have a plan. I believe that 100%. They have a plan. They have a timeline. They're not going to share it because there's no benefit to them sharing it. You got to ask those questions, because otherwise you're not doing your job. But at the same time, you also have to acknowledge that he's in a position where there's no benefit to him giving you the answer on it.
Yeah, and it was I'm glad that he at least like the second half of the answer was like, I'm not ready to put a date on. So he did answer your question in like a technical sense, but it was also that first part. It was like, is he just gonna kind of talk around it? But no, we got a little information out there. You were saying like to be like a fly on the wall. I think I'd rather be in the quarter. Like, if I got the choice between the two, could I see not like any like live scrimmage, because that's the easy answer, but like quarterback drills or quarterback room? I'd rather be the fly on the wall in the room and see what those conversations are like, and see who's getting the most talk and what they're doing when they're looking at film of practice. That I think would be really interesting.
Well, that's a bit of a cheat code, because you're getting both with that.
Yeah,
you're watching the film and you're getting the conversation behind it. I mean, what's the football program worth here?
$1 billion.
$1 billion. It's $1 billion question. So good luck with that. But that's how important it is. Every other box is checked on this team. They need that position to be one that is very, very good. He touched on a little bit in one of the other answers, and I followed up with the Quinshon Judkins question. How did that all come about? And at the end of this, he talks a little bit about how they talked to Trey about it, which I thought was interesting. Let's have a listen.
I think once he decided to go into the portal, everyone's recruiting him across the country, as you can imagine. But when you have someone like Davison Igbinosun, who's been at both programs, give testimony to what it is like here, I think that was really important. And, when he decided that, I'm interested in Ohio State, the first thing I said was, well, Travion Henderson's coming back, and then the first person I called was Trey, and Trey says, can I sleep on it a little bit? And the next day he says, Coach, if it's going to help our team, I think it's going to be great. And Quinshon said the same thing. And I think, Quinshon might tell you right now, like he likes being around. If you want to be elite, you want to be around elite-minded people.
Yeah.
And that's what's in our locker room right now. And so I can even see a change in him and just the way he's approaching every day in terms of workouts, the way he practiced from day one until the last practice of spring practice. And so, just being in the city of Columbus, being around Ohio State, being on this stage, being around the resources we have, but more importantly, around the people we have, just raises your level up a little bit. And I think that you're starting to see that with him.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most effective things that they did. To me, it's a kind of a branch off of that NFLU tree that Urban and Pantoni kind of built with Marotti and all of it, and then Ryan jumped right on that train moving. It's a branch off of that. It really is an NFL mindset of we're going to be playing a lot of games, and I think it was really mature of somebody like Quinshon to say, man, I don't need to run for 1,900 yards. I heard Tim talking about this earlier this week. Could they have 2,000-yard rushers? Damn right you could. think it's very likely he will have 2,000-yard rushers at Ohio State.
Might be
this year.
the goal, actually.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, over 16 games, it's not even that much. I think it's like 70, state school, but I think it's about 70 yards a game. So it's very much in play to be able to do that. And that's what they're selling up there is NFLU. And it's a totally different mindset. And it was fascinating listening to him talk about how, you evolve into that and to say, hey, he said he was watching the playoffs when he was on with us. He was watching the playoffs. And he was like noticing who was out and said, that's going to be us.
I thought it was also interesting, like seeing how things change and, oh, wow, I hadn't thought about that, but that would be the reality for the coaches now when he talks about Davison and Igbinosin, because we've always known that recruits meet each other during, like, while they're getting recruited and they kind of know each other and they can talk back and forth.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about, like, players who could never even be teammates, but have both been on a different program previously, and he can tell that guy, hey, here's the difference when you come here versus being there under Coach Kiffin in their instance, but in other instances, as far as they're going to keep going into the portal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you have all of that. It's on our social channels, Reese, correct?
It's everywhere.
Everywhere that you would
Just
want
like
it
us.
to be, even on the YouTube, kids. All right, we have big golf starting tomorrow. You'll hear from the striped one coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Your morning just got beefier. Morning Juice with Beamer, Bobby, and Shark.
Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When it comes to getting a new roof, are you confident letting just anyone on the roof of your home? I'm Craig Schottenstein, owner of Schottenstein Roofing. Our team is dedicated to delivering outstanding value on every roof we repair or replace. Whether residential or commercial, Schottenstein Roofing meets the needs of every customer. From roof installation and repair to siding and gutters, you name it, we do it. Call Schottenstein Roofing, 614-321-8888 to schedule your free inspection today. Go to schottensteinroofing.com.
Only on 10.
Essentially, somebody came into our house and murdered my kid.
The kid who seemed to have everything, targeted by a sextortion scam, took his own life.
Why did you target him?
Now, his mom's on a quest for justice.
To try and help protect other children, families from going through the crime that we have gone through.
With new laws to protect everyone's kids.
This is a new crime. We need it to be a law.
Tomorrow at 6 on 10 TV.
Jeopardy is on a hot streak with runaway games, high scores, and can't-miss moments.
I've always had nightmares about doing this, Ken. True Daily Double, please.
Oh, that's the spirit.
As this game heats up,
what is the secret of being a world-class Jeopardy player?
Everyone's asking,
could we be witnessing a new super champ in the making?
Find out.
All right, we got a tight game.
On Jeopardy.
Weeknights at 7 on 10 TV.
Hollywood Lights. Set sail with excitement at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Saturday, May 25th, you could be the lucky winner of a 7-day, all-expenses-paid Caribbean cruise for two. Not a sailor? No problem. Opt for $15,000 in cold hard cash instead. Play your favorite slots and table games throughout May to earn entries. More details at HollywoodColumbus.com. Remember, your adventure awaits at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
With spring ball behind us, we're officially gearing up for the most anticipated football season ever. Excited, nervous, terrified to your very core? Think of us as your emotional safe space. Always your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Goals. Have you written yours down? We have, and we review them often. This is Mike Weens, founder of Care Heating and Cooling. Care's goals are defined by measuring many things, and our most important goals are not measured in dollars. Care constantly seeks feedback through surveys and online reviews, not only from our existing customers, but new ones as well. Care tracks how often we solved your problem the first time, and if Care was easy to contact and convenient to deal with. Was a carbon monoxide test done? Was the reason for a repair made clear? Did our technician adequately explain the difference between a required repair and a recommended service? We want to know if our technicians treated you and your home with respect and care, and were our customers' needs thoroughly analyzed and addressed. Simply put, Care Heating and Cooling sets goals designed to make Care the best service company in Central Ohio. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. The crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar. Every bite is better with Pepsi.
Celebrate 30 years of family fun at the Wilds.
Book a cabin stay and a zipline adventure over animal pastures. This is family fun. This is the Wilds. Visit thewilds.org and make memories together.
Murphy Tractor and Equipment is your source for John Deere construction equipment rental. We rent high-quality equipment and attachments with add-on options in TopCon precision construction technology. Whether you need 1 week or 6 months, we rent a variety of equipment to help you get the job done. All our rental equipment is fully serviced, fueled, and ready to get to work. Let Murphy Tractor be your first choice for your construction equipment rental needs. Visit us online at murphytractor.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And we are on the YouTube, and apparently on the YouTube we have a developing situation. We saw Brother Bone in the hall, and we have a developing situation that our intrepid reporter Eric Reeser is all over.
Well, apparently there are some of you out there, and whenever you see a radio person, you're like, wow, they sound not how they look not how I thought they sounded. I'm trying to find the first one. This is Jameson on the chat. Holy cow, Chops is white. How did I not know this?
Great question.
A couple people are saying, Phil says, Chop sounds white as hell. What are you talking about? Then Matt chimes in, I've been listening to the station for years, and I thought he was black.
I feel like it's one of those, it's similar to the starting of our show where you thought something, like how I thought Crocodile Dundee and Hulk Hogan were brothers. Yeah. And then you probably just never give it a second thought, and that's just what's in your head.
And you're locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying to Chops in the break, like the Venn diagram of people who have the ability to and the want to like go get on YouTube and watch this show, who have been listening for a long time on another platform, whether it was over the air or app or whatever, who then also have never Googled you or followed you on social.
Well, I wonder how.
Because it's not like you're in hiding.
I wonder how many of those people know my real name.
Yeah, it happens to me when I'm sending emails. I'll just type in Chops and realize, nope.
I do the same thing with T-Bone. I have to remember Jonathan.
Does not have chops at Tegna.com.
Because you're right. If you look up Mark Finch on stuff from me and from this station, will come up there. But if you look up Chops, it's not on here.
There's no Chops.
It's mostly restaurants, obviously.
Chops. Yeah,
so I wonder how many people have Googled Chops and gotten no results and then said, man,
I don't know. Whatever. I did introduce you to Ryan Day as Mark. And then you had to say,
I was like, well, I'm Chops on the air. Then he kind of gave me a look. Kind of
looked you up and down. Yeah, I think so.
I was like, Chops? Then I explained where the nickname came from.
Could put some weight on that guy. Maybe make him a lineman.
That's true. I still have some eligibility left. I graduated a semester early.
Yeah. Kid played at Centerville. Let's see if we can get some eligibility left there. PGA Championship starts tomorrow down in Louisville. Tiger Woods is competing. He's doing so on is it a sponsor's exemption that he's doing so on?
It must be, because people like Daly are in it too.
Yeah.
So
it's weird that his excellence didn't give him lifetime pass into all majors always.
I think it's an implicit exemption for everything forever.
Feels like it, right?
Because he's exempt in whatever's next month, he's exempt into as well.
Yeah.
And then there's the actual Open, which I think is in August.
Okay.
So if he ever fell into actually, you don't pass the rules that we can exempt you for, then maybe the Tiger rule comes out. But as they can still fit him into the normal boxes of exemption, I think they'll just keep it that way. But with the assumption that, we bend the rules at least to make sure Tiger gets in the field.
We are past the point of him, contending. And it's certainly not going to happen at a place like this. If anything, it would be Augusta or maybe I could see it at an Open where if it's one of those places he just knows really well and you don't have to be huge off the tee and those type of things. Maybe there, but it's certainly towards we're well into the twilight of his career. He has been here before. Is this the place that he
won in 2000
here?
Yes, because there is another.
Is this
thing.
The Bob May? This is the Bob May.
Because Justin Thomas is apparently from the Louisville area.
Yes,
and was talking about it's one of his core golf memories watching Tiger win in 2000. I think it was a bit of a oh man, I'm old moment for Tiger, but hey, he is old. Been around for a long time.
Did I say Bob May? Is that who I said?
No, Bob May's correct.
Okay, yeah, 2000.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so he gets him at the end. Like, May thinks he's got him, and then Tiger gets him at the end.
Was that a major that time?
It was. It was a PGA Championship.
Okay.
Yeah. He had done it. At that time, it was in August. But, yeah, he got him. Tiger was asked if his experience at Valhalla helps him this week. Here's what he had to say.
It's been 24 years, and 10 years ago I did not play very well. But the memories of coming back here and reliving some of the shots that I was able to pull off back then, more than anything, just stay out of the rough. This is a big golf course, and if you get in the rough here, things could get a little bit sore. But if I drive it well and do the things I need to do, and what I did 24 years ago, hopefully it works.
So Rory won here last time then.
Is that?
Yeah, 10 years ago. I mean, I'm saying that relatively confidently. I didn't look any of these things up, but
was that Rory's last major?
Doing this all off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure Rory won at Valhalla in 14.
Correct.
How about that?
Look at you. Apparently you know everything about Valhalla. It just takes you a moment to get it
sink
working.
in. Yeah. Okay, so there's you go. There's your intellectual knowledge that both those guys have. So the last 2 times that this place has hosted a major, Tiger won, Rory won. So that would be heavy betting odds. What do you have for us on that, Reese, with the typical odds at the sports book?
Well, that's a good question. Let me pull them up.
Oh, here we go. You got it. It's in the prep.
Oh.
You guys got it in there. There you go.
Because I knew like Daly's plus 20,000, Woods is plus 15,000.
Plus 15, which tells you all you need to know. So, all right. So he's got Scheffler plus 320, Rory plus 600, Koepka plus 1,100, Rahm plus 1,200. That's kind of the way that it goes.
And don't bet Tiger Woods, but definitely don't bet John Daly. They're not going to win, guys.
No, neither one of them. I like the Koepka at plus 1,100. I'm going to tell you what, the most fun that I have ever had betting anything was the Masters. This was the Masters when Charles Schwartzel won it. This was my father-in-law and I it was my sister-in-law's birthday. And we went out to Vegas and for her birthday, and the whole family went. And he and I sat at the sports book at the Palazzo. It was Emerald Sports Stadium, and we sat there and bet the Masters. And Tiger was in the mix, so that affected the odds a great deal because everyone was betting on Tiger. So we just kind of bet everybody else.
At good odds.
Because Tiger was eating it up. He was eating it up, and he was making a run. And at one point, he got within a couple of shots of the lead the year Schwartzel won it, if my memory serves. I'm pretty sure I have this right. And we got Schwartzel at 16-1. And he was like in one of the final pairings, and we won. And it was a good deal of money. And I remember seeing him at Memorial a couple months later, he was at Memorial, and I'd stopped him, and I told him the story, and he goes, "Where's my cut?"
Yeah, you should have tipped him.
Which is a funny line. He's like, "Well, that's great, but where's my cut of it?" I said, "Well, you got a green jacket. What do you need a cut for?" This is one of those get off my lawn things where in my head I want to fight and say I don't like this thing now, but the reality is once I get used to it, I think I'm gonna. I really do. I think because I don't need golf in the fall. You like to play golf if you can at that time. I don't need major golf in August with everything else going on. You give me major golf sneaking up on me in the middle of May, I think I'm going to like it. It's just going to take some getting used to. This calendar for it, it's not what I'm accustomed to, but I do think, I'll be into this thing tomorrow.
You say that, and then NFL schedule will drop tonight, and that's just going to take over your mind for the rest of the 24 hours.
I mean, we'll play the schedule game.
Hell yeah.
We'll play a little bit of the schedule game tomorrow. But I do think that this, it's got a little bit of a chance. Golf's in a hell of a spot. I mean, it's in a hell of a spot. You watch these guys on Golf Channel, and they're arguing about Rahm and Rahm's comments and people coming hard at him. We did this yesterday in The Real Truth. Is this becoming tennis? Yeah,
it's essentially become 3 leagues: the PGA regular season, the majors, and then Live. And you're only watching one of them, and it has the smallest amount of events because there's only 4 majors.
Yeah. It's the 4 majors, and then the other thing, what will happen when we're further into this with Ryder Cup and President's Cup and those type of things. But no, the 4 majors are. Everybody comes together. They have the same kind of complaint fest back and forth with each other at each one of these majors. Well, you're aggrieved, I'm aggrieved, and nobody goes anywhere. And the golf fan, the traditional golf fan, only loses. The rest of us who paratroop in on majors, fine, we're good. Doesn't affect us. Mm-hmm. I'm not watching it week to week anyway. So in that sense, it's a win because you still get the best in the world playing in this thing. So this will be fun down in Louisville. Probably a lot of people from here going down there for that would be my guess. All right, we'll get you officially endorsed in 3 things coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Always at the forefront of new technology, Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected. Afflicted. No, affected was right.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters ASE technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye. Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
This offer is only available at Reichert Ford. 0% financing for 72 months on every 2023 Ford F-150 in stock. Take advantage of Reichert's rate before it's too late. Lock in your 0% rate and take a new truck home today. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com.
See dealer for details. N6324.
Exclusively at Reichert Ford. 0% for 72 months is now available on every new 23 F-150 in stock. Hundreds of trucks at ReichertFord.com. We're dealing.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
You walk into your bathroom every morning and every night, so why not have it be something great? Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. You've been thinking about it, so do it. Let my friends at the Bath Authority transform yours into whatever you envision. With the Bath Authority, every unit can be custom built by you with the premium accents and accessories that you want. And it can all be installed in as little as 1 day by certified factory technicians. And right now, the Bath Authority is giving you $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
The Memorial is coming, and we'll be there, and you'll be there, and we'll all be. You get the point. The Fan is broadcasting live from the Memorial.
Sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling and Orthopedic One.
The Fan.
Hey there, friends. Beau Bishop here for my friends at RCD RV. And when you want to get away, there's no better solution than hitting the open roads in an RV. Brings me back to my youth out west, under the stars, fresh mountain air. That could all be yours, and your journey starts at RCD RV. RCD has RVs to meet every budget with new campers as low as $13,995 and Ohio's best selection of pre-owned travel trailers, fifth-wheelers, motorhomes. 3 locations to serve you in Central Ohio or online anytime at rcdrv.com.
Safe Auto Insurance is now Direct Auto Insurance. What's the difference? Basically, the name. Direct Auto offers savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, just like you're used to, which means you never have to make trade-offs when it comes to paying for car insurance. So don't even think about carpooling to work with Talkative Ted. It's time to stop compromising and keep driving with Direct Auto. Get a free quote at directauto.com or call 1-877-GO-DIRECT. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Don't miss a minute of the action on the diamond with ESPN Bet. The exclusive sports book of ESPN is the only place to find offers and promotions from your favorite ESPN shows and personalities, including daily odds boost and home run specials all season long. New users can get a bet reset up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Download ESPN Bet today. What a play. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Are you experiencing brain fog or difficulty building muscle? Feeling irritable and lacking energy? It might not be just your busy lifestyle. Many men worldwide suffer in silence from low testosterone. But there's hope. Introducing testosterone replacement therapy from Precision Health and Wellness. Imagine waking up with renewed vigor and confidence. Visit ChoosePrecisionHealth.com or call now to schedule a consultation. Reclaim your vitality today with testosterone replacement therapy from Precision Health and Wellness.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Sears Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, I got this from loyal listener Nikki DeBat. He writes, lifetime exemptions into the Masters and PGA for past winners, exempt until 60 for the Open Championship. Only one Tiger needs a special exemption for is the U.S. Open.
And that's where the Tiger rule will come in.
That's
if he wants to play the U.S. Open, they'll find a way.
Yeah, so that's it. Good job out of the bat right there.
Is that because the U.S. Open is such a capped field, right?
Out of my depth. We'd have to get Nicky the Bat back on. I don't know. I'm sure he could get us an answer, but we're running a little bit out of time. What do we have on the poll today, Reese?
Daily Fan Poll asks, would you ever travel internationally to watch your favorite NFL team?
Yeah, I would.
80% say no.
Really?
Yeah. I asked this morning when the slate was released, I asked if the Browns or the Bengals were selected, would you have gone? And I got an overwhelming no.
Okay, how much if the Browns or the Bengals were selected, but you didn't have to pay the upcharge to get there? Like, let's say you just had to buy the ticket. Everything else was the same. Like, it was the same as driving to Cleveland or Cincinnati, and all you had to do was buy the ticket. Would that change your view of it?
Sure, it would.
Right? Because I guess is the majority. I guess my point is the majority of the no's, my hunch is, are from people who are like, yeah, I'm not paying that freight. I'm not doing that.
I mean, most of the time it's no because I can't afford to go to any game, even if it is a home game.
Yeah, valid. Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I would love to go like to Munich and see the NFL there. I think that I did not have an interest going to Sao Paulo.
Do you want to see Nebraska and Northwestern play each other in Dublin?
I do feel like I do okay in Ireland.
Yeah.
I think I do all right. I think it'd be fine. All right. It's a First Friday. Hit it.
Wrong one.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday. Officially endorsed because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
Sponsored by Sugar Shannara Accident Attorneys. We go to war for you at warforyou.com. That's warforyou.com.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
So I was inspired yesterday. Reese, I think it was you who said your favorite pie was apple. And so I was thinking about apple crisp, and I always do the bourbon apple pie at Thanksgiving. Yeah. But I was thinking, could I do something quicker? And I kind of had that flavor. And so I went down to my little chemistry set, and I started putting some stuff together. And I guess what I'm going to call that, I don't know what I'm going to call this, but potentially this is something that would look good on a T-shirt or maybe a coaster. As one of the recipes, perhaps, if in a bigger picture conversation. Here's what you're going to take. Go ahead, grab your Whiskey War. Let's go 3 ounces of that. Set that aside. You're going to muddle 1 brown sugar cube. You're going to go 1 shake of Barkeep organic apple bitters, 1 shake of black walnut bitters. Muddle that sucker up with a little bit of whiskey on top. Make sure that those brown sugars really broke down. You don't want that to be all crystallized, so you want it to liquefy a little bit. Then you pour the Whiskey War over it, 1 big ice cube, and away you go. It was really good and inspired, I believe, by Reese's Pie Choice yesterday. We'll come up with a name for it, but it's a good one, and I recommend it. You're officially endorsed on this fine First Friday. All right, time for 3 things.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Number 1 for me, we have reached the point in the boys' schooling where they're not doing anything. So they're watching movies. They're going on field trips. This happens every year at this time. We always, all of the state testing's done. All the iReady stuff is done. And so there's nothing to do. The teachers did everything to prepare for that, and then they have these extra 2 weeks.
No finals in elementary and middle school.
No, so it's field trips. They go on field trips, and they watch movies, and they play tag, and they play games, and it's like, this is my advice to the parents out there. If you have time and are able, now's the time where you pull them out of school and go on vacation. Do it right now. Financially, it would make sense, too, because you can stay at places because no one's on vacation right now. So you can stay at places at a nice rate. You can buy tickets for planes at a nice rate. Now is the time to go on vacation. They are doing nothing.
First one for me, the new Chops TV dropped about an hour ago. This is the live version, the one we saw the Fall Guy over at Grandview Theater, and then we recorded the podcast right there. We had a little bit of a crowd, so you can kind of hear them interacting with us other places there. But it's not just the Fall Guy we broke down. You will also hear stuff about karaoke, dogs speaking different languages, rev sounds for electric vehicles, which J-Lo had no idea that they didn't actually do that, and more fun. So check it out wherever you get podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter @_ChopsTV.
Donovan Mitchell, Persham Sharania out for tonight. So you're probably not going to get him or Jared Allen. And this comes less than 24 hours after Windhorst was on ESPN saying, yeah, no, the Lakers are going to be one of the teams interested in Mitchell. It would be very hurtful to me if that was what LeBron was in Cleveland for.
I don't think that's what he was in Cleveland for.
Well, I hope not.
I could see them having... Honestly, that might be okay. You might get a package back from L.A. that is a decent package. I think Garland can play. Might get some length back.
Get Anthony Davis with that?
Well, you're not going to get him.
Oh.
But you might get like a couple of those guys you could maybe get in there. Number 2 for me. So I saw this... The NFL with this big announcement, they're going to do Hard Knocks the off-season with the Giants.
The off-season?
So they did the in-season. They've done that the last couple of years. That hasn't taken off. Here's the thing with Hard Knocks. It's all about the cut down at training camp. That's really what it's about. The rest of this is just stuff that these NFL sites can do. Like the Browns have done this for years, building the Browns. Like, that's all they're going to do. It's the same thing. Like, and here's another thing. There's not a lot going on at an NFL facility this time of year. Pretty quiet.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have their offseason programs, but a lot of those are optional. So some of those star players aren't even there. And then what? You're just looking at a bunch of rookies hanging out? No, I don't think the in-season one didn't hit for me either, so I don't think that one will.
No.
Nola Gold. Okay, so they broke their losing streak this weekend, but it was against, this is in Major League Rugby, just so everybody knows. It was during the Chops TV live podcast, so I wasn't able to watch it live. So I looked up the score, but there's not a ton of write-ups on Major League Rugby. So I was like, oh, I wonder why it happened. So I put on the replay yesterday afternoon, had it in the background. They were down 17-3 about 25 minutes in, then down 24-10 at half. And I was like, so when do they go on their comeback? Well, it's in the second half. They outscore the Seattle Seawolves 22-7 in the second half for a 32-31 win. Seattle Seawolves, one of the best teams in the league. So Nola Gold back on track, baby.
There you go.
We've got what looks to be the standard cover of the EA Sports College Football 25 with Travis Hunter, Quinn Ewers, and Donovan Edwards. So
I'm not crazy about acknowledging this, but I do think it's cool that I suppose it's at least kind of cool that they chose a Michigan player, and the last one was a Michigan player.
Yeah.
It was Robinson, and now this. So I think that's fine. Number 3 for me. So last night, the other two were at lacrosse practice. It was me and Bootsy, and we're like playing the PGA video game for the Xbox, and we're playing each other. It's like, Dad, can we just maybe play 6 holes? And I'm like, why would he want to get off of this? So then we finally get off, and I'm like, yeah, let's play 6. And he goes, you know what I think would be really cool? If I taught you how to play Fortnite. Knowing that he's grounded from Fortnite except for Friday and Saturday. I said, well, I don't think we'll do that. You're grounded. And he's like, yeah, but I just really want to show you. So I wanted to play along a little bit. So he starts to show me. There's no showing. He puts the headset on. There's no turning on my controller. It was just a ruse to play Fortnite. That's all it was. He got about 6 minutes out of me, though, with it.
You knew you were getting got.
I knew
you let it happen.
I just like to see his mind work, see what he's capable of.
Speaking of scams, I know they are scams, but I really actually do wish I could respond to some of the emails that come at me with an interesting offer, because I want to see what are you actually going to say? But it's not worth engaging with a scam artist. Right. But every once in a while you'll get a robocall, and my car's in the shop right now, so I answered one this week just in case it's a call for that. And the guy was talking to me, and I was like, okay, this is definitely a scam, and I just hung up eventually. He was like, can I ask you some more information? I didn't even say anything.
No, we're good. We're good.
Speaking of scammy behavior, when we didn't get to talk about this yesterday, and I think it was Monday when Bronny James was measured for his height at the NBA Combine. He was 6'1", or listed at 6'4". He was 6'4", listed at 6'4" at Sierra Canyon, listed at 6'4" at USC, 6'1" in Chicago.
Tough.
Every guy's dating profile. just be your height.
Be you, man. Be you.
You're okay as you.
Enjoy your first Friday. Rothman and Ice up next. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is a Fan Action Update.
This Action Update is brought to you by Tipico. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In the NBA, teams that win Game 5 of a 2-2 best-of-7 series have gone on to win the series 82% of the time, and that bodes well for the Knicks and Nuggets, who both won to go up 3-2 in their series. Today, the Cavs look to stay alive as a 14.5-point road dog to the Celtics. 8-1, the Cavs can pull off the upset. For your Tipico Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
Whether it's a walk-off granny or a base hit to center field, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 and older, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Partial to pastrami, craving a Cubano. Yeah, sounds delicious, but boom! Add the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar and cue the fireworks. Lunch, dinner, or late night, it'll be a sandwich worth celebrating. Trust me, your boy's eaten a lot of sandwiches in his day, and the one thing I can say with absolute fact, every bite is better with Pepsi.
And now to the chopper for our traffic report.
There's a lot of traffic. It must be headed to Meijer for the Buy 5, Save $5 sale. Shop Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, Breyer's ice cream, and Coca-Cola or Pepsi 24 packs, plus deposit where applicable. All Buy 5, Save $5. Mix or match at Meijer.
Okay.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Score a goal with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the checking account that rewards you for supporting the crew. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, official credit union of the Columbus Crew. Federally insured by NCUA.
Witness heavyweight boxing history in the making at Twin Peaks as Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk finally face off for the undisputed world heavyweight title. Call up your crew, grab a table early, and order a round of 29-degree drafts for what's sure to be a legendary day in the ring. Contact your favorite lodge for availability and cover info.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.